Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Penfield, New York, a seemingly happy marriage degrades into affairs, finger-pointing, and kinky sex until a horrible, bloody plot ends it all. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We have a bonkers show ahead of us, of course, as usual. Just want to say before we start, number one, shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets on sale for all of 2024 right now, and they are going extremely fast. We have
so fast we had to add more.
We had to add more tickets.
Not dates.
We had not more dates. Kansas City, we opened up the balcony to that place because you guys sold out what we thought we are at a certain thing. We were like, we'll sell this many tickets, and you guys already bought them all. So we opened up the balcony, so a few more are left there. Phoenix is sold out. Other cities are very close. So get your tickets now if you want to go. I'm telling you, get in there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, you certainly want Patreon. Yeah. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get a couple hundred back episodes, bonus stuff, new stuff every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get all of it, 100%. This week, what you're going to get for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about Morgana the Kissing Bandit.
Hell yeah.
This is a lady with size triple Q boobs who would run out onto sports fields in the middle of nationally televised games and kiss players, like whether it was like a batter in baseball or the pitcher or the quarterback, and everybody would just let her. It was just fine. Everybody would laugh, and then she'd run off the field, and it was just wild. And I'm like, well, how did this happen? We got to find out.
Smooch a married man.
It's so strange. Everybody would laugh. And then for Small Town Murder, the prisoner dating game, everybody.
Hey!
Oh, baby. All violent felon edition, of course. Going to line up 4 bachelors and 4 bachelorettes for young Jimmie Whisman here and have him pick between them based on nothing but their profiles, their prisoner dating profiles. And then he gets to find out who he picked at the end and what they did. And God, it's fun. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Where Jimmie will mess your name up terribly. Well, he was trying his best to get it correct. So,
I'm working my balls off. You bet.
He's trying. By the way, virtual live show.
Oh, yes.
Coming. Another 420 virtual live show coming. So it is going to be great. New apparatus to get Jimmie stoned and surprise him with new crazy toys.
My God.
It's going to be so much fun and a wild story. Can't make it to a live show. Make it to a virtual live show. Definitely be there. We can't wait. We'll announce exactly when the tickets go on sale, but they're going on sale this month, so at the end of the month. So get in there for that. Disclaimer, this is a comedy show.
It is.
We're comedians.
We are.
But this is all real murder. That's the thing. This isn't made up to be funny, or we don't embellish anything or anything like that. That would be weird. You don't have to, because you just tell a crazy story. There's plenty of jokes to be made, and they don't revolve around the actual murder. There's nothing funny about, and then he cut her head off. Oh, well, that's hilarious. That's not funny. Nothing funny about that. But the funny thing is when someone goes, hey, I know I can get away with this if I put this head in my freezer for the next 6 months. That's not a good idea, and we can make fun of somebody for that. See what I mean? There's where jokes come from. That's what I'm saying. So what we do, though, and we go out of our way not to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why is that, James?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you.
Deal?
Your deal? If that sounds good to you, we're going to hear a wild story. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, ever go together, I don't know. No complaining later if you're going to listen anyway. We warned you. So that said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back. What do you say? Let's all clear the lungs.
Sure.
And the throats and everything else. Arms to the sky. And let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. What do you say? Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Let's do it.
We're going all the way to Penfield, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where that is?
Nope.
I didn't either. It's in northwestern New York is why you don't know. You come to my house, it's like 7 hours away in a car. It's really far. It's
like
super far.
York?
It's farther than your house to L.A. or San Diego or something. It's far. Yeah, it's out there. It's about 3 hours and 20 minutes to Albany. So that's, all the way across the state.
Holy.
Only 15 minutes outside of Rochester. So this is a Western New York.
Yeah.
We have a lot of listeners out there that have been requesting, give us Western New York live show dates or goddamn show subjects or something. So here you go, everybody. And it's about 6 hours to Manhattan. So that tells you it's a long drive.
That's a distance, yeah.
Yeah. And about 3 hours and 40 minutes to Liberty, New York, which was our last episode. I just needed to see blood, which was disturbing, if I remember correctly. Yeah. This is in Monroe County, area code 585. The motto of this town, here it is, a town of planned progress.
Oh, yeah. We're planning it.
I don't know what that means or that
Sometimes surprise progress is better.
I don't know how you can plan progress. It's just how things happen.
Oh, planned progress is never as fucking right now as surprise progress. You know what I
mean? They're planning something.
Plan takes way too long.
Let's find out what their plans were with a little history here. The town now, this was originally the hunting grounds of the Seneca Nation here. That's originally,
They hunted here.
But didn't have settlements here. Just this was hunting grounds here. Yeah. The town includes a place that still now is called Indian Landing. And from this landing on the shores of the bay here, there's trails and water routes that went through the region and all over the place, including a water route with only 2 portages leading from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. So, you can get from here, from the water, you can get anywhere, which is kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of cool. After the American Revolutionary War, the land that became Penfield here was included in the Phelps and Gorman purchase. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even think I've ever heard of that.
Who the fuck? Or Gorham. It's not even Gorman. It's Gorham.
Oh, it's Gorham.
Who has heard of that unless they live here? And
Phelps and Gorham purchase?
Yeah. Well,
Louisiana overshadowed you.
A little bit, yeah. So, and it was around the same time, too. So you're not going to get any credit if you're going
and
up.
I imagine
2/3 of the land or this.
Yeah. If Phelps and Gorham pooled their money, I don't think they bought as much land as the fucking government.
Especially because they called these two towns, the Phelps town and the Gorham town, Townships 13 and 14 of Range 4.
Perfect.
Of Range 4.
Map coordinates.
That's give the latitude. It'd be easier. Like, that's so weird. And then Daniel Penfield bought all of this, bought everything. And then,
all right.
So they named it
Deep
Penfield.
pockets. There you go.
Daniel Penfield said, Townships 13 and 14 of Range 4 just doesn't have the ring to it.
Sure doesn't.
But I can't plan any progress around that. So you know what? We're calling it Penfield, which is probably a good move. Famous people from here. There was only one that I could find. The wrestler Chyna, Joni Laura.
Is that right?
Yeah, she is from here. Yes.
From
Absolutely.
Penfield?
From Penfield, absolutely.
Wow.
I don't know if she's buried there, too, but she's from there.
Right. Oh, yeah,
so
that.
No, that was terrible. Reviews of this town, let's find out here what people think, because we've never been there. We didn't even know it existed before we were doing this episode. Here's 5 stars. Penfield, New York is a wonderful town. That's nice to hear. The people are very friendly and helpful. It is a Mayberry that we all want in our heart. A Mayberry we all want in our heart. I guess like a Norman Rockwell type situation.
In our heart.
In our heart. Growing up in Penfield is peaceful. A town where it is still okay to run in yards, fly kites, and in the dark catch fireflies. You can do that just about lots of places.
St. Louis, shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's still okay. I don't think. Are most people getting killed flying kites? Is that how this works? Is that how
Have
crime?
they outlawed kites?
I think most places, there's no kite flying. We can't do that anymore.
The strings
running in yards.
Get caught up in our drones.
Yeah, that's true. And running in yards. Come on, now. That seems dangerous.
Don't you dare.
Somebody could fall.
Where's your helmet?
Safety being a concern to all these days. Well, in Penfield, you can take a breath and just breathe in the safe, warm, friendly air that surrounds it.
Okay.
Except in the winter when it's 8 below zero, and then it's not so friendly and warm. The hell, that's Western New York. Calm down.
And 4 feet of snow.
And 4 feet of snow. 3 stars. Only crime is teenagers being teens. That's it. That's their whole review.
That's illegal there.
That's just teenagers.
You don't get to be
around.
a teenager here.
Yeah, no. Kite flying is illegal past 13 still.
They arrest you at 13 and let you loose at 20.
You're on probation till you're 20. That's how it works. They put you on a monitor, a little ankle bracelet. 3 stars. It is truly a nice area, but I feel trapped sometimes. Like everyone is drawn to the suburbs. No matter how far away you try to get, you always seem to come back. Geez, this person's getting philosophical. No matter where you go, there you are. You know what I mean? Like,
take it easy, Mr. Brady.
Because the suburbs are in your heart, I guess. Yeah, it's a Mayberry in your heart. Finally,
people are always trying to get out of this big metropolis to the suburbs. Is that what they're saying?
No, she's saying I think if you start in the suburbs, even if you go other places, you end up back there because you just get drawn back.
It's too much.
Here's 2 stars, finally. Penfield is above all a mediocre town.
There we go.
There we go. Really, it's nothing more than a place to live. What the fuck else do you want? And then you can go somewhere else for pretty much everything beyond basic shopping.
Oh, got it.
Okay, yeah. Well, you can go on the internet. There's lots of places.
You got Rochester right there. Tons of
15
shit
minutes
goes to
away.
Rochester.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in Rochester. Yeah. There are really no great parks in the town, and there are no great restaurants, and the schools are dead average. Dead average.
Dead average.
Not even dead ass average, just dead. It used to be you lived here because houses were relatively inexpensive, and it was a short commute to anywhere. ... The commute got busier and the houses have gotten much more expensive.
Okay.
So now it's just a forgettable town that is a stopover to somewhere better. Don't bother. You'll be disappointed.
Don't you dare bother.
Don't bother. You'll be disappointed. Oh, okay. Never mind then. I had my real estate agent looking for houses there. Yeah. I guess never mind. People in this town, 39,074.
Oh.
It's there's a big town outside of Rochester.
Yeah, no
Rochester's actually a big place. I think it's the third largest city in New York. Rochester,
I'll bet it is.
if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty big. The male-female, way more females than males here. Almost 53% female, which is well above average. Median age, a little bit older. It's about 45.7, older than the national average. Almost 62% of the people here are married. It's kind of a suburban. When we show you like the house that's in question this week, it's very much like that. Not a lot of people single with children. Not a lot of divorce. It's kind of people are staying together here. Yeah. Race of this town, it's 88.3% white, 2.6% black, 3.1% Asian, 4.4% Hispanic. So that's how that breaks down. Religion, 46% of the people here are religious. Spread around pretty decent, but not really, because the Catholics, of course, are going to take this. 26.1% Catholics. Yeah. As we know, Catholics are the Baptists of the North. They're just going to be found anywhere. 1.4% Jewish.
Hey!
Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey! There you go. That's been a while. We haven't had a 1% in a long time. Monroe County last election, 59.3% of the people voted Democrat, 38.2% Republican, and 2.5% Independent. And the unemployment rate here is about average. Household income here, though, is high. Median household income here is $101,250 a year, which is well above the national average. So
what are they doing?
They're doing well out here. It seems like if you can afford to, you get married and have kids, and if you can afford to move here, you do. Yeah. Rather than like in Rochester, but you still work.
Fascinating.
I don't know. Cost of living here, 100 is average. Here it's 88.
Hell yeah.
Pretty low. Housing, median home cost, $317,700, so slightly below the national average. So not bad. If you make $100,000 a year, you can afford a $300,000 house. And maybe you're looking for one. And if you are, we have for you the Penfield, New York Real Estate Report. Average two-bedroom rental here goes for $1,270, which is slightly above the national average. All right, here's some houses. Not a lot available in this town. Yeah, there's only a lot of them are not built yet. The Rochester, Buffalo area has been kind of swelling lately.
Growing, huh?
It's been growing. They've been building a lot.
Josh Allen.
That's all it is. The Bills have been half decent, so why not?
Fans, everybody's moving there.
Here is, you just want to pitch a tent. Here's a 2.17 acre lot. Oh. It's a field with a bunch of woods. So, I mean, you're going to have to definitely do some flattening if you want to build anything or something like that. But it's only $99,000. So 99,900, 2.17 acres.
That's fantastic.
I guess it's good. Yeah, in this area, though, I feel like if you go a little bit further out, you can get a lot more for cheaper. You know what I mean?
1 acre in Phoenix metro area is around $250,000 just for the land.
Well, the lot's there too. 1 acre, you make fucking 4 or 5 lots out of that. You know, those are
people
are
buying the lot and just building a house right in the fucking center of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So here's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, 1,651 square foot house. So kind of your family home here. You know, it's on a 0.4 acre lot, so it's not a big place. It's a basic, decent little house. Sure. It's worn a bit. It looks lived in. You kind of want to do a sprucing. The carpets are worn out. You can see where the couches were and shit like that. The 2005 kitchen, absolute 2005 kitchen, $289,900.
That's doable.
It's doable. It's a little pricey, I think, for what you have to do inside.
Some work to do, but
yeah. And here's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. 3,529 square foot house. It's a big, nice brick house. All you can say about it. There's nothing else to say about it. Doesn't have much character, really, or anything to really speak of, but it's a big, nice brick house. Yeah, big brick house. $650,000 for that, though. So you're going to pay for it. So
you bet.
It's a little getting pricey up there. Things to do here. Okay, this is a weird title. The Penfield Music Festival and Food Truck Rodeo.
That's a lot of words.
That's like, wow. When you say food truck rodeo, by the way, I picture a rodeo arena with a bunch of trucks doing like demolition derby style shit. A bunch of food trucks. Tacos flying out of windows and shit. That's what I picture.
Churros on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Pulled pork sandwiches spread throughout. All these food trucks always pulled pork.
Walking tacos smashes into the churro truck.
I feel like a truck is the preferred method of selling pulled pork for some reason in the modern day.
It doesn't take. It has a different flavor with the diesel exhaust
fumes,
in your.
Yeah. You taste the fumes. You taste that. It's a potpourri, really. Yeah. It's like having a glass of wine with a nice steak or something. It's the same thing.
Diesel in your throat enhances it.
It's nice. Real nice. So the food truck windows open at 4:00.
Okay.
Music featuring.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. The Penfield Central School District music groups.
That's not the one I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids singing choirs and
Is
shit.
that it?
That's the music.
Why say music if it's just children?
That's the one. That is wild, man. It is free.
Okay.
Because you're allowed to buy food and hear 8th graders sing, which really, even the kids' parents don't want to do that when they have concerts. No one wants to hear that. The kids aren't good yet. Not even if your kid's good. The rest of the kids suck. It's not good. We haven't weeded out the talentless yet. It's still just anybody who feels like it.
It's just random children
screaming
words at us.
It's not a tryout.
Walking tacos. This is no good.
Not a good thing. My pulled pork tastes worse now. Diesel fumes help it, but then this music hurts it.
Jesus. Why mention music if you've got non-professionals?
That's what I mean. There's music, exclamation point, featuring the Penfield Central School District music groups.
Central School District.
It's amazing.
School children.
Amazing. Next up is Tastin' the Blues.
Oh.
Okay, that's at the Penfield Amphitheater. Mm-hmm. Music by Steve Grills and the Roadmasters featuring Benny Turner.
No.
Now, I wasn't going to go because I was like, I've seen Steve Grills and the Roadmasters.
Steve's
obviously, we all have hundreds of times. But if they're going to feature Benny Turner in there, oh, baby. Jimmie,
Steve's
pack
not
it
coming?
up.
Just Benny? Great.
Just Benny. Pack it up. Put the fucking luggage on top of the car, and let's all head there like some 1930s Dust Bowl Okies. Let's get out there.
Jesus Christ.
Put your grandma on the roof, and let's fucking go.
The Roadmasters has to be a ripoff of something else, right? It's not the
sure.
Because there are I think there is a Roadmasters that are with somebody.
Probably. That sounds right.
I don't know why that's ringing in my head, but I feel like I know who the Roadmasters
seems like it would probably be that way. That's not the main event, though. The main event is the chili contest and judging.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. Chili judging guidelines. There will be 2 separate categories for judging, a people's choice and a judge. Judged categories. $100 cash, it says here. Stevie Fielding is going to absolutely sign up. I need $100 cash. $100 cash. Chili contest rules.
Yeah.
Chili may be made with beans and or meatless. So they're not going to debate about that. You make what you want.
Okay.
Chili entries must display a list of main ingredients at the tasting table. Chili must be served from food grade equipment. Transported chili must be at least 41 degrees or colder or 140 degrees or warmer. So keep it hot or keep it cold, but keep that bacteria away.
The fact that they have to say food grade means somebody showed up with it in like an igloo cooler or something.
Someone showed up with a half gallon of milk with a milk container full of chili.
So
not a plastic one either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, a carton. They showed up with a carton.
Pouring cups of it.
I find it the best way to pour. Like, no, you're not allowed to do. I washed it.
Somebody's got a Yeti cooler full of chili, and they've got like a sawed-open Budweiser can that they're serving with.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. But chili must be maintain a minimum of 140 degrees as well. Provided by Tasting the Blues, you get a table, a tent area with an electric hookup, 2-ounce portion cups for the People's Choice judging, and a wiping cloth and sanitized solution. So you're going to do that. Also, Historic Preservation Day, which is just Nothing. You show up and look at the old buildings, literally, and there's
trash.
And there's music from the Loose Monkeys that day, which at least they're not the school children. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Anything's looking good right now. And they also have chili there as well. So
they do chili up here, evidently.
They like chili and beer and shit up. Oh, it's
cold.
These are drinking people, Western New York. You go to a bar in Buffalo.
Yeah. They want booze and something hearty in their stomach. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. They're cool people, too, up there. Yeah. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in. Property crime, about 1/3 beneath the national average. So a little bit low. Violent crime, though, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime, that's the important thing here. Only half the national average. So
really? Very safe.
So that said, let's talk about some terrible, terrible murder here. This is fucking awful. All right. Everything about this is bad. It's just the whole thing's a mess. Okay. There's a couple of people we have to credit here first. Okay. One is a good 3-part series in a newspaper, long pieces in the Democrat and Chronicle by a guy named Michael Ziegler. And then another... Yeah, he did all this. And then another is a book written on the whole disaster called Betrayal in Blood by Michael Benson. Okay. So I won't give you the subtitle because it'll give away the whole show.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So it kind of gives it all away. But
you get a little bit of your title, Mike.
Betrayal in Blood is fine if you get that. There's an audio book of it, too. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about some people here.
Okay.
Let's start with Tabitha.
Yeah.
Okay, Tabitha Marie Bassett. Double S, double T. Bassett. She's born October 8th, 1976.
Yeah.
So a little older than us, but not much here. She's born in Iowa, and her parents are Virginia and Carol Leroy Bassett. Okay. So those are her parents. She'll go on later on to, she goes to a little bit of school and everything like that. But let's talk about her family here. Or let's talk about there's her, Tabitha. She's born, by the way, she's named Tabitha because her mother, Ginny, Virginia. She named Tabitha and her older sister Samantha.
Yep. Oh boy, did I love I Dream of Jeannie. No,
Bewitched.
Bewitched.
Yes, that's why she named them.
I love both of them.
She named them after that. She actually named Samantha.
Boy would have named him Darren. Yep,
the baby is Samantha as Tabitha. The funny thing is she names her Tabatha.
Tabitha. Yeah.
That's because this was only from the book that I know this, but in Bewitched, the Elizabeth Montgomery, who played Samantha, she wanted to name the baby Tabitha. She thought it was a good name. So the writer said, sure, who gives a fuck? We'll name her Tabitha. But it was supposed to be with an I, but at the end credits, they misspelled it for the first couple seasons with an A. So Ginny took that and said, that's how you spell Tabitha, and named her daughter Tabitha. Then Bewitched changed the spelling in the subsequent seasons with an I.
I already got a goddamn kid. You guys ruined
got a kid. So there
was
you
that
go.
The invention of Tabitha, the name?
No, actually, I think Tabitha is an older name that just hadn't been in favor for a long time. I think it was one of those. It's like Mildred or something. But
I've heard the rumor that Disney actually invented the name Wendy.
That's possible.
That was never a name until Peter Pan. That's what I'm told.
They can fight with Dave Thomas about it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, or the Beach Boys.
Fight it out, goddammit. Do it up. So let's talk about another family, okay? Growing up around the same, or beforehand, but a family that her parents know. Okay. It's kind of friends of the family here. The Bryants with a T, like Kobe. Yeah. Vivian Bryant, who's a man, by the way, that is the patriarch of this family, Vivian. He's the pastor of the Parenton Congregation of the Reformed Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay, Mormon,
yeah. It's an offshoot of the Mormons, now known as the Community of Christ, by the way.
Oh,
they were like, that's a little wordy.
The
Penitent Congregation of the Reformed Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a lot. So we're just going Community of Christ, COC, baby. Now you got like a peppy little, you know what I mean? Your COC, you could put that on a sweater.
I don't like it.
A college, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's marketing. I feel like that is. So at a church camping retreat in the mid-1950s, now Tabitha, by the way, we told you was born in 76, so we're going back to her parents here. Vivian and his wife Joyce met Carol and Essie Bassett. Carol Bassett was the pastor of the denomination's congregation for them. And it's also only ladies' names are allowed to, only men with ladies' names are apparently allowed to run these churches. This is Carol and Vivian.
Yeah.
How you doing? Hey, how's it going?
I'm Pastor Lauren over there.
Yeah. He was a bombardier in World War II, and this one was a...
They're badasses, believe it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the Bassetts and Bryants became friends. They went on vacations together, hung out, went to each other's houses on the 4th of July and all that kind of bullshit there. So the Bassetts knew when they needed to go to Rochester for business once in a while, they would stay at the Bryants, always have a place to stay there, and they would go to their church, and they'd go out to dinner and all that kind of thing. Sure. Now, the Bryants, in 1958, they have a son named Kevin C. Bryant, and he's got some health problems from the start.
Oh, no.
He's born with a serious heart condition, and this is in the late 50s, so it's not like...
Oh, boy.
Nowadays, they zap that shit up pretty good. Back then, it was like...
It's wild.
He might not make it when we have to do a surgery on a baby.
See
if
it heals,
So he had tons of surgeries in childhood, and because of all these surgeries and different drugs they put him on, and also back then, too, they'd give you they'd be like, here, just eat a bunch of mercury, and then you'll be better. Like shit like that. Weird stuff like that would be a treatment for things. They had these weird radiation treatments that were like half the kids got cancer that they used to give them for like...
Instead of like low dose aspirin?
Yeah, it was like for little things. They'd give you these weird radiations that they thought it was like modern treatment at the time. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So it ends up stunting his growth, all of this stuff.
Yeah, he's got a little heart.
He ends up being 5'2".
Oh, you poor little guy, Kev.
Which is rough for a guy, let's just say. That's not great for a dude.
No.
He was teased a lot about his stature, and also because he's a slight little dude, too. He's not like he's jacked or anything. He's just a little tiny guy.
Yeah, bad heart will do that.
Yeah, and so people would mess with him a lot in school. He graduates in 1976 from Penfield High School, and all of his friends said he took everybody's shit with a grain of salt and let it slide off his back, which if you're 5'2" and small, you kind of, you kind of have to. You know what I mean?
You can't. And when you got a bum dicker, you can't be.
Yeah.
You can't be all amped up. That little thing is going to explode if you're not careful.
That's the thing, and I'm sure he was kind of used to it too. So he kind of just was able to take it and not let it really, not take it into his heart. Anyway, they said his one classmate Denise remembers him as quote AV boy.
What is that?
AV, like the audio visual.
Audio video? Oh, okay.
Yeah, audio video. They would push the cart of like with the projector and like that, or the TV when we were kids. And
I thought it was going to be some sort of made fun of them nickname.
No, AV boy, because he was often seen pushing the carts of audiovisual equipment.
He's the guy bringing the TV in.
He's the guy who wheels it in, which was always a weird kid usually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, actually, I always kind of liked the AV kid, too. He was always a weird kid, but I don't know. I'm interested in shit like that. So, it was always somebody who was interested in, like, movies and stuff like that. So
cinema.
Yeah, stuff like that. So she said this about Kevin, quote, he was completely the nerd in school, but I have to say that he came off as a confident guy. He had to fight that stigma about his height. I think internally the kid was so insecure, but outwardly he always seemed to have this little cockiness about him. He's like Tom Cruise, like his little tiny guy with little cockiness.
All this swagger.
Yeah. Kids could be brutal, and he stood up to them pretty well. So, not bad. Another guy named Peter called Kevin the most mild-mannered kid he ever knew.
Okay.
He volunteered together with Kevin, this guy, on the 72 re-election campaign for President Nixon.
Cool.
16-year-olds that are into Nixon? That's weird.
On the second term?
Yeah. Super into Nixon. That's funny.
When you knew about him?
At a 16-year-old is the thing.
Yeah.
Like 16-year-old back then shouldn't have been like, that's just a strange thing. He wasn't into the casualness of the 70s. He would have like, short hair and all that kind of thing. So he was just anti-counterculture is what he was.
Yeah.
So, his friend said, I'm not surprised that he ended up a lawyer. Because he will end up a lawyer.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Now, he meets Tabitha, our girl we talked about there, Tabitha Bassett, meets her when she's about a little under 2 years old.
Yeah, because
and he's 20 at the time.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, and Samantha was 3, and so they were, all kind of hanging out together. Now, Carol in Virginia, Tabitha's parents, split up in 1978.
Shit.
And we'll talk about that. He was in the Army, and he went to Germany. There's a long story here about she ends up living with her grandparents, Samantha and Tabitha do. And we'll talk about this here. One of her relatives said she was a rejected little girl. She never lived with her mother and father long enough to get bonded.
Just because they got divorced, they're like, we cast out the children of this too?
It's weird. Yeah, like they go their separate ways, and dad goes to Germany and mom goes and does her thing, and the kids are just left with grandma.
Wow.
And that's how it goes here. They said Tabitha's whole personality was pretty much could be defined by a desire to be accepted. That's what she just wanted to be accepted. One time her sister Samantha said, she told me once that she felt abandoned. I told her, Tabitha, we're living with Grandma and Grandpa. They're taking good care of us, but she never got over it.
Yeah.
That was her thing. So Ginny here, mom, the kids said that she told them they were better off without her at the time.
Okay. I don't know.
Now, Virginia says it wasn't an easy decision. This is her quote. It was extremely hard, filled with a whole lot of nightmares, but at the time they were 100 times better off than they would have been. If they had been with me, they would have been some mixed up kids. Okay.
What was she doing?
She says this, quote, my husband went to Germany and I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was working at an art store during the day and a restaurant during the weekends. Leroy was going to New York to visit his parents, and he asked if he could take the girls with him, and I said, sure. Leroy is a guy she was seeing. No, that's their father.
That's Carol's middle name.
That's the father. Okay.
Yeah.
Leroy and I were having problems, and he didn't bring them back. By the time I got up enough money to go to New York and pick them up, I found out that New York had a law that you can't take children out of a house they've been in for longer than 6 weeks without a court order or something along those lines. What the fuck are you talking about? Even if you were the children's mother.
What? I don't think that's true.
No. I was young and dumb. I was 19 at the time, I believe. Nope. She wasn't 19. She's older than that. Leroy and I divorced soon after that. We just couldn't get along. Now, at the time, though, not what Samantha says, Dad and Mom brought us to Grandma's, and Mom was going to come back after she got settled in her new home. Dad was going to Germany in the Army. Mom told Graham to get custody of us because she was going to be a trucker, so Graham did. Then she was mad that Graham did. Mom asked to take us to her parents, but Graham wouldn't let her because she didn't know if she would get us back. Graham did not tell her to get a court order if she wanted us. She asked to take us to visit, but not to keep. So Mom said I was just so busy, and they were like, no, you weren't busy. You were just fucking off, is what the kids said.
And she's painting a historical picture that doesn't exist either.
That's the other thing.
What happened, Virginia?
There's a lot of weird stuff with Virginia here. Virginia says, I called the kids on the first Sunday or first Saturday after the first of the month every month, she said, and I talked to them. But the kids said once a month with little kids. And the kids said, because she said she couldn't afford to call anymore. Yeah. But the kids said they got a couple of calls from her, but then they stopped completely and she just disappeared. So, yeah.
Hell of a job parenting, Jenny. Jesus.
Both of these parents. And the other one just went to Germany and was like, I don't fucking know. He didn't even call once a month or for a couple times.
Created a new life out there.
Yeah, they both were like, well, this is a lot easier. Without kids.
You can have the kids in the divorce. I don't want them. You have them.
We both
walk away.
Mom.
They aren't a fucking end table. For Christ's sake, these are children.
They just put them out on the curb with a sign that says free on it. Anyone who comes by with a pickup truck can go ahead and grab them. It's fine.
Go stand next to the fridge marked free.
That's it. Yeah. That and the basement fridge that doesn't quite work right.
Yeah.
It's only cold enough for maybe sodas if you're desperate. So once the girls move in there, they said visits from their parents were very infrequent. They basically said they saw and heard from her as much as like a distant aunt, maybe.
Wow.
That aunt that's not even like one of your parents' siblings, just like a second cousin that's an aunt.
It's a one of those family we call aunt.
We call aunt, yeah. Samantha said, we saw my mom once when I was in the 7th grade and Tabby was in 6th. She would call every once in a while. She called once a month for a while, but then she didn't.
Unbelievable.
And she said, Dad, forget about it. She said, we would see my dad about once every 2 or 3 years. He'd visit when he was on leave from the Army. One time it was 2 years without seeing him. Another time it was 3 years.
How do you
go 5 years of your children's life without fucking popping up and saying hello? That's insane.
Dude, I go a week and it drives me insane.
That's tough. That's not easy.
I could never do it.
Wow. So Ginny here, she's that's Mom. She's got no husband. She's got no girls now. I mean, she could go get them, but she doesn't.
She has them. She just doesn't do anything about it.
Then in 1980, a breath of fresh air walks into her life.
Oh?
A guy named Cleo Weinbrenner pops in here.
Cleo for Ginny.
For Ginny. Ginny and Cleo. Yep. Yeah. She had to find someone with a name that could be a woman's name as their first name. Had to.
That was unbelievable.
Have to do it. It's everyone in this family. She says this is Ginny. I was living in Kentucky with a girlfriend of mine, and he was a bouncer in a bar. What is this, Roadhouse? Is this the prologue to Roadhouse? What's happening right now?
I fell in love with a bouncer.
If you met him, you would realize how funny that is. He stood maybe 5'8" and weighed 140 pounds, but he was, as you can imagine, pretty tough. The toughness was mostly in his personality, though. Cleo and I were together for 7 years before we got married. We got married in 1986, and we're still together. When I met Cleo, I was already pregnant with Cyril, but I didn't know it. Okay, that's going to be the half-brother of Tabitha and Sam now. She's pregnant.
She was pregnant with somebody else's child and had no idea.
Yeah, she said, I guess I was about 2 months along when I found out. I told Cleo that there was something about me he should know about. I would say several things.
I'm about to get a lot bigger over the next 7 months.
Several different things.
Yeah.
She says, I was pregnant, I was still married, and the baby wasn't my husband since we hadn't been together in a long time.
I have a lot of things that are going to shock you right now.
I have some stuff. I'm behind a couple months in rent. So there's like a whole lot going on.
Behind a couple months in rent and periods, and I have 2 children elsewhere.
Yeah. And I can't call out on my home phone. You can only call in because I haven't paid the bill in a while. Remember that? Anybody who's been there knows that shit. And you're like, oh no, you call me. Yeah, no, you call me. Do that as a kid. That's fun. You know exactly what I'm talking about, too. But Jimmie's laugh told me that, yes, we were equally trashy together.
Unbelievable.
So Cleo said, so?
Oh, what a guy.
That was his only response.
Uh-huh.
So they have little Cyril in 1981 here. Okay. And she said Cleo raised him like he was his own. And then when Cyril was about 13, Cleo adopted him.
Wow. Took 13 fucking years? Oh, come on.
Well, I guess they wanted it to be his choice, they said. They were going to ask him.
Oh, that's so nice.
And 13 they thought was old enough to decide, and then he decided he wanted to be adopted, and that's what happened.
Look at Ginny growing up all of a sudden.
Yeah. Cleo sounds like a decent cat, I think.
He sure does, yeah.
And maybe Ginny, I mean, who knows? Her life was a little messy. And a lot of people's lives are messy in their 20s. It just sucks when you have 2 kids that get swept up in your mess. That's why it's better not to have kids when you're 22.
Thank God for that, man. I could have been
some
way
people
worse
are settled
off.
in, but some aren't. Then they have another son as well. That Cleo and Ginny have a son of their own here named Chris. So Chris will end up dying later on. It's a mess.
What?
Yeah. Listen to their. Chris is kind of a disaster. That's not our murder story, by the way, Chris. He's just dead.
Oh.
So
he's just a body out there.
He just dies. I think in a car accident. But he was a nut that did a lot of drugs, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, 1986, Cleo and Ginny get married, and I'm only telling you about this because the way they did it is amazing. It's really, this is like pre-Instagram white trash wedding here, like on purpose. Like we had our sales at trailer park wedding,
right?
Like,
yeah.
But they weren't being ironic and putting it on Instagram.
This isn't because they could afford better. This is all they had.
Well, then they did have a sense of humor about it, though.
Okay.
She called it a good old-fashioned shotgun wedding, literally, which is weird when you already have 2 kids.
Why were there guns involved?
that's what I'm saying. Everyone dressed up in older clothes, made it look shabby. Yeah. The reverend, who happened to be the neighborhood minister, he performed the ceremony. They lived out in the country, and the minister came out to the house, and they had their decor was bales of hay they put around. The people all sat on bales of hay. They had the ceremony on the front porch. Ginny's sister and also her boyfriend at the time held a hangman's noose for some reason.
In case he says no.
Yeah. The maid of honor's dad escorted Cleo up onto the porch while holding a broken old shotgun.
Oh, my God.
Like they were pretending like it was a shotgun wedding, even though these were...
Like he's forcing them, yeah.
These were adults with many children. She has 4 kids already.
Yeah, this is... she should be very well on her way to her 11th or 12th anniversary by now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They have a boombox that they played the bridal march on.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they had a big old cookout.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that was their wedding. So now Cyril, somebody here says Cyril was one of those kids that if he liked you, you knew. And if he didn't like you, you knew that too. He didn't mince words. He showed respect to his elders as long as they showed it back. He wouldn't take any crap.
Cyril's they showed it back.
Yeah, that's usually not how respect for elders works.
Yeah, which elder have you ever spoken to that right out of the gate offered respect to you?
He didn't grow up in my family, is what I have to say for that. The old Italian people be beating the shit out of this kid on a daily basis.
That kid would have been telling adults in my family to go fuck themselves, and they would have beat the living shit out of this kid.
That's rough, man. They said, quote, he had a hard time dealing when he was younger. He had a behavior disorder. Sounds like it. Yeah. He had a hard time with the fact that his real dad didn't want anything to do with him. That's some dude that she
maybe
was
he doesn't even know.
He doesn't know who is. He knows who it is, but he doesn't know the guy doesn't want anything to do with him. Yeah, but he's been adopted by somebody else. Yeah, He's got a dad. I mean, what the fuck? It's not like he's like, I just wish someone would play catch with me. You know what I mean? There's a guy in the house.
Cleo, he's a badass.
Yes, he's a good guy, it sounds like. So he said he'd get frustrated and have mood swings. One of his teachers was wonderful. Sometimes he would just cry, and she knew what the reason was. She would take him out in the hall and talk to him and let him get himself back together before she took him back in the room. Cyril was never in trouble with the law, but Chris was. Chris had one of those personalities you just had to like. He was like Tabitha. When he met someone, he was quiet at first, but it didn't take long for the quiet to go away.
Okay.
So now, that's them now, Ginny and Mom. So the girls, Tabitha and Sam, they live with Grandma over there, and then Ginny and Cleo have started a whole other life and family.
Yeah.
And just left the girls.
Are they in New York also?
No, I believe they're in Iowa, I want to say.
Oh, I think you did say that. Yeah.
I think they're in Iowa. So that's because that's where Cyril ends up being. So, yeah. Okay. Now, Kevin, back to the other family, Kevin Bryant and the Bryant family. They were talking about him, and he was around too because the family was around.
Sure.
About Tabitha, the family says that she was a stubborn child.
Oh.
Yeah, this is her grandma. When she was in kindergarten, I went up one day to the school to check on Samantha and walked into Tabby's classroom. She was under the desk with a pencil and a piece of paper. She was being disciplined, but she never let on. She said she liked it there. She's one of those you couldn't break her spirit.
Just hanging out.
Oh, no, I like it in the corner. That's why I'm here. Fuck her.
My favorite.
Fuck that teacher. Sam and Tabby would fight a lot. Because they were a year apart, and they're just how kids sisters. Are, and their sisters, just like brothers will fight. And Samantha said, we didn't always have the greatest relationship, and I really regret that. So they were both active in school, but in different things. Sam was in the yearbook club and like the photography club and that sort of shit. But Samantha was a cheerleader, and she played softball.
Okay,
so that's what they did. They said, she's in school over there, and in parallel, we'll talk about Kevin Bryant. While she's in grade school, he was finishing his undergrad work and graduating from Vermont Law School in 1988.
That's great.
Yeah, so then he goes to work in some law offices after that. So passes the bar, apparently. Tabitha graduated from Greenwood Central School in 1994. She's class of 94. Yeah. And they said her senior class was very small. Small class. Really tiny. They said it was, I think 30 kids. They said Tabitha was one of the prettiest girls around. This is a quote from the book here. Tabitha was one of the prettiest girls in town with her honey-colored mullet. Now, this is 1994. This is not 1984, so I don't get... In 1994, if a girl had a mullet, you'd be like, why you got a fucking mullet? That's weird. Right?
They just said so much with that short sentence.
That said a lot right there. That's the town. With her honey-colored mullet.
That's the prettiest girl in town.
Oh, she purty with that honey-colored mullet.
Honey-colored mullet. Oh, boy.
Her main issue, though, physically, was her teeth weren't great. They were very crooked and snaggled.
Welcome to the club, babe.
Snaggled, crooked, and discolored and not great, is what people said. They didn't have money for braces, so she never got braces. And but she said she didn't really people said she didn't seem self-conscious about it or anything like that. So she ends up meeting here. She's dating her high school sweetheart, Arnold, or what the hell's his name? I don't have his name here. They gave a pseudonym in the book, and it doesn't matter. They said it was about her age. They were going to the same school. Sure. She said, Samantha said, I think they met down at our neighbor's. He used to go down there and hang out, and that's where they met.
Yeah, he liked her mullet. Yeah,
he was her senior prom date.
Okay.
So that was what's going on there. By 1995, Kevin is running a law office, and Kevin Bryant. And Kevin goes out on his own in 1995 to open his own law office.
Wow.
And Tabitha, meanwhile, is working as a waitress and studying to be a certified nursing assistant, CNA. Yeah. But she flunked her exam.
Oh, no. She can't wipe ass?
That's not great. She flunked her exam. But she does get married in August of 96, Tabitha. She marries her high school sweetheart, Arnold, which always works out. At the Howard Community Center in Howard, New York. Mom came for the wedding.
Jimmie showed up?
Jimmie showed up. Absolutely.
Ginny, not
She's
Jimmie.
there. Jimmie. Yeah. So she moved with him to Rochester, and that's where they live. Tabby and Arnold. They're married about a year, and they're fighting, and it's not working.
Wild.
Weird. This is strange. When I saw him after math class, in between math and biology, we got along great. But now when we live together, not so much. Super weird. So Tabitha complained to her grandmother here. She always said he wasn't hitting her or anything like that. She said it was verbal abuse. He'd always yell at her and call her names, and she didn't like it. She's tired of arguing, and she's had enough.
Okay, makes sense.
That makes sense. Good for her for recognizing that.
Yeah.
She didn't before she had like 3 kids and then 10 years later recognized it, and like a lot of us have. You know what I mean?
These children watch the fucking abuse and the cycle, and they grow up and then destroys their lives, and they end up in the same fucking thing that you went through.
Exactly. So she goes to her grandmother and says, what should I do? And the grandmother says, well, get a divorce if you want a divorce. And she says, I don't know how to do it. And she says, well, our family knows this attorney guy, Kevin Bryant. You've known him since you were 2. You know him. Oh, yeah, Kevin. Okay, great. So she does. She goes and asks Kevin to handle her divorce for her. And he said, yeah, no problem. He doesn't do divorces, but he finds a friend of his.
He knows some people who does family.
We'll do it and not rip her off and all that kind of shit. So, this guy ended up moving away, this Arnold Martin guy, and he takes off and moves away.
Great.
So the Bryants, they're helping her. The whole family's kind of gathering around her. The Bryant family's helping Tabitha out because they feel bad for her.
As her life is falling apart.
Yeah, and they know her forever and all that sort of thing. So somehow, in all of this, Kevin and Tabitha hook up.
Oh, Kevin.
He is 18 years older than her.
Well, listen, in some places of this country, that is evidently recognized as a sign of success.
Yeah, I guess so.
What is he, 30?
But when when Mick Jagger's 70 and he marries a 19-year-old Brazilian model, he didn't play with that model when she was a baby. That's what the weird part is. Like, I remember when you were a baby. Yeah, that's weird. I can't. Your dick shouldn't be able to get hard then.
He does remember when she was 80 because he was 50 doing coke off some other broad in fucking England.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing with that child. He never knew that child existed till she grew tits. Then he found her.
Yeah, it's still weird.
This one, it's all weird. It's all weird, but this is weirder. It's scales of weird.
You're right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So they end up getting married on December 26, 1997. She's barely divorced.
She is 21.
He pushed her divorce through and then immediately got married. Exactly. She's 21 years old here.
Wow.
And they go to Kevin's church, and there's his father's an ordained minister and all that sort of thing. He already had bought a home. He's got a nice big house.
Yeah.
Anticipating a family.
Yeah.
Yep. He's 40. She's 21. This is going to work out terrific.
The man's seen the fucking world. He's been to Germany. He's gone to law school.
No, Germany's her dad.
Oh, didn't he go too?
Did he go to Kevin went to Germany?
I swore Kevin went to the army or some shit.
No, that's dad. That's her
just
dad.
Okay, all right.
Tabitha's dad went to the
Kevin's
army.
gone off to law school.
Yeah, he's done play. He's 40.
That's
40.
2 years younger than me.
Think about it this way. When you were 40 3 years ago, did you have any of the same thoughts you had when you were 21? No, exactly.
He's worried about polyps, and she's kissed a guy named Paul on the lips. That's it.
He's literally like, when should I start having my ass probed for fucking problems?
Yeah, this is crazy.
That's soon, right? And then she's not worried about that, put it that way.
Unbelievable.
So the problem also is that Tabitha's family had some misgivings about this whole thing, not even because of the age, because of Kevin's health, because they've known him forever.
Oh, because of his little heart?
Because of his little tiny heart problems that he's got there. And Tabitha said that she would take good care of him and convince them that she could care for him, and he wouldn't die in her care, I guess. Okay. So now Ginny, though, Tabitha's mom, doesn't really like Kevin. They're civil with each other, but Ginny's not in favor of this marriage. Like, listen,
you're a business lady.
When you call more than once a month when I'm 5, you can have an opinion on this. Otherwise, shut up. You're marrying bouncers. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You left me next to the fridge. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Ginny said, I didn't have to like him. I didn't have to live with him. So there's that. Kevin and Tabby went on a honeymoon to the Cayman Islands.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, he's a lawyer, so he's got a little more going on than the 18-year-old she married.
She's 21, headed off to
the Caymans.
Oh, good Lord. To the Caribbean.
And they said Tabitha's an inch taller than him.
Sure, yeah.
She's 5'3", but like during the wedding, she wore heels, so she's like 5'7", and he's 5'2".
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
He was like, he's like on his toes and shit. Unlike Tom Cruise,
man.
Unlike Tom Cruise, nobody gets him an apple box when he's not taller than the girl in the shot.
Wrap your arms around those knees and hold on tight, bud. It's all right.
If he married a woman who was like 6 feet tall, yeah, you're like, I climb her like a tree.
Yeah.
But if she's just a little bigger than you like that, then you just look like
she threw on heels.
Yeah, you just look like
bigger.
Just like a little guy there. So an aunt of hers said she was pretty high strung. She decided she wanted to wear red shoes for her wedding. Everybody tried to talk her out of it, but she did.
What? Take it easy, Dorothy.
Because she's already been married, she was like, well, people are saying I can't wear white. Well, I'll wear a white wedding dress, but red shoes. So that means I've already been whatever.
There's no flour here anymore.
I was going to say, that indicates things being broken. So, so Kevin was very reserved and very conservative, and she was like outgoing and friendly, and, she would like sing solos in the church choir and, would be the fucking person dancing the most at weddings and shit like that while he would sit on the side and watch. I don't know if it's because he didn't enjoy it or because he thought his heart would explode. I'm not positive of which it was. Could be either way.
Can't be out here cutting rugs, lady.
I'm going to die. You know what I mean? It's totally different.
I'm not letting the electric slide kill me around here.
No. Now, Kevin he would have like people rent out rooms in his house before this because he bought a 4-bedroom house. He lived in alone. So, like, professional acquaintances and shit. Like, basically, he had a bunch of guys that were getting divorced. Like, a guy would be going through a divorce. He'd stay with Kevin for 6 months and then go get an apartment. It was like a divorced man's transition center. It was his house. A halfway house for divorced men.
A rehab center for single men.
Yeah, that's what it was. They're not ready to bring chicks home yet. They're just trying to get it together.
Get you back out there slaying poon again. Come on through.
They're trying to acquire a bed and a dresser. That's all they're trying to get together here so they can get to their own place. And then poon is on the back burner at this point.
As soon as I got more shit than fits in this room, I'm out of here.
That's what it is. It's going to be a while. I can still fold up my air mattress, so it's going to be a bit. I'll be here, Kev.
Hilarious. That's a fun house.
It is. So one of the guys here was a divorced man in his late 60s who had worked with Kevin.
Poor bastard.
He didn't like Tabitha.
No?
No. He says this. This is wild. He does not mince words, speaking of people not mincing words. Quote, so Kevin met Tabitha. She was a piece of shit. That's
fantastic.
Cold-blooded.
That's a woman, man. Take it easy.
She was a piece of shit. He met her and she was married. She was like a cheerleader, a young airhead. She came into the house. He helped her get a divorce. Then they got married. After she moved in, I moved out and moved back into an apartment. But for a time, I was living there with the two of them for about a month, and that's about it. I was living in the house with them, and they lived together there before they were married. Like he's judging them. They were living before they were married.
It's disgusting. I heard her saying, gag me.
Yeah, fuck. He says, Kevin's a great guy. He's a piece of work, very intelligent. Unfortunately, he's always had a problem. Well, not always, but for as long as I knew him, we used to talk about relationships with women. I had a divorce, and other friends had problems with women. He got married, and unfortunately it was to the wrong individual. During the month I was there, I couldn't understand how he got hooked up with a lowlife like that.
I want to know way more.
Wow, this guy is angry.
What did she do? Give us some examples, man.
I think he's in his late 60s, and this guy I think he was just like, look at her, all bubbly.
She's having fun. She's 21.
Look at her. And he's like, she thinks she's bouncy here. Wait till you get her in a bed, then she's super bouncy.
When have you ever met a 21-year-old when that guy's got it together? You know what I mean? They're all pieces of shit. They're 21.
Everybody who's 21. Yeah, and if you're 21 and listening, don't feel bad.
No.
We were there too.
You're allowed to be a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you should be.
You don't know any better
Enjoy
yet.
it.
Yeah, you don't know any better yet. Enjoy.
Have fun.
And later, you can go through it with this wonderful, complete cognitive dissonance that it's
crazy.
A thing. You can just later on go, wow, I sucked. And that's fine. No one will care.
Yeah, right now you think you've got it together. You fucking don't.
Wow. So I couldn't understand how he got hooked up with a lowlife like that. She had problems. I could tell she wanted to have a family or something. Oh, how dare she? You little bitch. What do you want, a family? What do you want, fucking...
What do you want, happiness?
What
How dare you?
Wow. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder. ThriveMarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
She had the first baby. She wasn't much of a mother. She induced a premature birth by not drinking too much water. This guy's a doctor now.
Okay, yeah.
I remember Kevin told me she was fainting. She was weird. Then she had the second baby. Then she came to the office bringing the two babies. Strange. She stopped by her husband's office, where it's his law firm, with their two babies.
With their children.
So strange. I've never seen anybody's significant other stop by their office with the children for a minute. That is so strange. This guy is he's not a happy
angry.
guy.
Yeah.
He is very angry. Then I guess she took up, well, that's a later on thing. Okay. I don't know what the hell was going on. That's what he says. Okay. Wow. That's a lot from that guy.
He is judgy as fuck. And
holy
so
shit.
Kevin fathered two kids with her, huh?
Yes. They'll have two sons as we find out here. He's got some money problems, though.
Kevin?
He was hit with a $202,000 legal malpractice judgment for work he did for the old company he used to work for of legal places, Hyatt, it was called, like the hotel. Yeah. He did there. This caused him to put both of his family's cars in Tabitha's name to protect some of his assets.
Sure, to protect your liabilities.
Yeah. At one point, he applied for a job at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, claiming he needed a steady income because in some years he only made $20,000. And he was turned down. But they said that they seemed to get along. Tabitha and Kevin seemed to love each other. Her relatives here said, we trusted him. We knew he'd take good care of her. When he introduced her to people, he would say, "This is my beautiful wife." He'd say to her, "Anything you want, honey." Her friend said, I'd be talking to her on the phone and she'd laugh and say, "I got to go. It's cuddle time."
Oh.
So, yeah, they seem to be getting along. Or as this guy would say it, she's a piece of shit. She wants to cuddle and have children and love her husband. Or
fucking low life.
Bring the kids to see their father. Strange behavior with that one. Jesus. Tabitha's uncle said they were happy and we were happy for them. So she is working as a part-time secretary in his law office. She'll come in and do work here. He also gets her a full dental overhaul.
Hell
she wanted. Yep.
Fix those teeth.
Got crowns and got all this type of shit.
Oh,
and
God.
She was all excited and everything like that. She cut her hair and left it straight. And she was started to change up the clothes she wore. And, she just started to look better and feel better about herself.
Fitting into a pretty mom role. That's nice.
And you're also in a legal office, so she wants to be like, she wants
Can't bring
to
those fucking teeth in here. People are going to think they're going to lose.
Well, she's a lawyer's wife now too. She feels like, so she has a certain status she needs to uphold. And her sister said she didn't change when she married Kevin, just her style. Other than that, her sister said, I didn't notice a change attitude wise, but she did feel that she had to be appearance wise the lawyer's wife.
Sure.
She had to be that. So they have two sons, like we talked about. One they name Kevin Jr. Kevin C. Bryant II. They call him KC Bryant, and they have Stephen as well. They're two sons. Her mom, Ginny, said that Tabby seemed to really enjoy this change in her class, basically. She went from being lower class to, upper middle class, a lawyer's wife here. So
Ginny witnessed her going from the kid that was abandoned and thrown in her grandparents' lap to this lawyerly wife.
Yep.
Great.
Her mom said for Tabby, the whole idea of being the wife of a lawyer, the whole persona fascinated her. So,
yeah, it fascinates me, too, to be anything other than a piece of shit that I was born into.
The only problem, her mom said, is that she said she loved it, but only up to a point. She was having trouble with the fact that she was never around people her own age. Everybody was Kevin's friends.
Yeah.
Therefore, so all of his friends are in their 40s.
He doesn't know anybody that's 21.
No, I would hope not.
No, fucking better not.
No reason to do that. Her friend of hers said she loved her kids. Oh, my God, did she love her children. She would just tell me how delightful they were and what a wonderful thing they were in her life and the happiness they brought to her. When the kids would stay, or Virginia said, quote, she'd call me at night when she put the boys to bed. the boys would want us to sing them to sleep, so she would sing while she put the phone to the boys' ears so they could hear me. Okay. Now, Kevin, before they got married, he drove a Mazda Miata convertible because he can fit in it.
Kevin.
To him, that's like a normal-sized car.
To him, that's a Cadillac, man. That's huge.
That's a one-seater to me. If you put a seat in the middle of it, I can lean my elbows on both windows, and still my knees would be up in my face. That would be bad.
We mentioned it before in another show, and I was inundated with race cars of those. Man, that's not whatever. Yeah, it weighs 12 pounds. I get it.
Yeah, you could put a giant engine in it, make it go fast, but that doesn't mean anything.
Still a dumbass car.
Yeah, you could do that to a lawnmower too. Does that mean it's great?
You can do that to a fucking bar stool.
Yeah, really anything. People do it with. I've seen coolers that people put motors in and drive them in Florida.
Refrigerators, trash cans, all kinds of shit.
Jesus. A friend of his said, a lawyer friend said, I ran into him one day and I asked him if he still had his Miata. He said no, he had gotten married and had kids and was giving up those days. So they got a station wagon and a minivan.
Those days.
Those days of driving around with the wind in my hair. Over.
My sports car.
Yep. Man.
Fucking Miata.
Now, Ginny never liked him, like we said. Ginny said, to me, he seemed very cold, empty, and unfeeling. But at the same time, Tabby loved him, so she obviously saw something in him that I didn't. Yeah, because you're not with him. Now,
his fucking wife.
Here is their house.
Holy motherfucker.
It's just a nice white house. Looks like it should have a picket fence around it. It's a nice big house, like one of the 5 windows up front, 2-story, big front lawn.
Plantation-style house. It's beautiful.
Big front lawn, right? And it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 1,824 square foot house. So it's not that big.
Wow.
Not like as big as it looks. It looks bigger. And it is, at this point, valued at $305,400.
That's a nice little place.
Nice little place. So now Tabitha also is employed at the bank, the M&T Bank, and she's also a legal assistant to her husband here. So that's what she's kind of doing on and off. They do some other stuff together that we'll talk about, though.
Oh.
Now, he would do wills, divorces, bankruptcies, and minor criminal cases. That's what he did here.
Estate planning and minor criminal shit, okay?
She was known for handing out lollipops in the bank drive-thru. Basically, if you came up to the window and you had your radio loud or turned it up loud, she would give you a lollipop. And if you turned it down, she'd go, if you want a lollipop, you got to turn it up. And then she'd give them a lollipop. And then she'd dance to their music. So
she's a party.
Fucking deposit my shit. This is a bank. Look, I get having fun at work. This is a fucking bank.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with like my blood samples and my fucking financial security, stop dancing and worrying about lollipops and worry about your fucking job, and I'll figure the rest out.
Stick that dum-dum up your ass and my money in my account. Yeah. How's that?
Here's why I turn the radio down, because I want you to understand what to do with my fucking money. That's why. I don't want this to get fucked up. This is important.
I got bills that rely on this.
This is very important. I will go to jail. I have child support. Do you understand? Stop dancing, please. But I like the spirit, though.
Yeah.
I like the spirit. So, wow, they seem to be doing fine. She drove around in her minivan with a bumper sticker that said, "I'm the mom, that's why." So she was embracing this suburban mom shit to the brink here. She would also show people pictures of her kids at the drive-thru as well.
That's too personal, man.
The customer that was her friend said she'd be jumping up and down. If I drove through with the music turned down, she would look at me and say, "No music, no lollipop." Okay. She treats everyone like the 2-year-old.
God damn it.
So coworkers said she was very lively. One said she cared about people. She always cared about anyone who worked there. If she thought I was feeling bad, she'd come up and give me a big hug and put her head on my shoulder. If you're feeling bad, you put your head on her shoulder.
Oh,
put your head on my shoulder. It wasn't let me put my head on your shoulder. That's the song.
Yeah, you feel down here, I'll carry my weight too.
Yeah. So now she got rid of her glasses. She's wearing contacts. She's got nicer clothes, better hair, fucking
great
perfect teeth.
Yeah.
She's feeling better about herself. Now, the other thing that's a problem, though, is there's a lot bubbling under the surface. They look like the perfect suburban couple, but there's some other stuff. Kevin's having an affair, and she can't prove it. This is 6 months into the marriage. She tells her mom that she thought Kevin was fucking around.
Look at you, Kev.
Yeah, Ginny said she told me in the first 6 months that she was married that she thought Kevin was having an affair, but she couldn't prove it. Something about a hotel room and bubble baths and champagne.
Oh, Kevin.
So Tammy, because this is 2001.
Yeah.
Tammy is on the computer trying to fucking...
Tabby?
Tabby. Yeah, I said Tammy.
Yeah.
Tabby here, Tabitha, is on the computer trying to find shit, looking through his emails and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She read some private stuff here. Ginny says, quote, then Tabby said she read his email and she knew who it was, who he was with here. But she still couldn't prove it because she couldn't tell if he was really having an affair or if it was just something mouthing off on an email. He wasn't happy that she'd gotten into his email account, so that caused a fight.
Yeah, because you read somebody else's shit and all you're doing is looking for a fight. Stop that. Knock it the fuck off.
That's exactly right. Fucking what are you doing? Stop.
Don't open anybody's shit. It's not yours.
Stop.
If they want to text you, they'd text you.
And then it's never going to stop, too, if you do that. We can do that for the next 40 years. You're going to fucking look through everybody's things and text messages. And
knock it off.
What about nowadays? You're going to get on their WhatsApp and their Instagram. Your head would explode. All you would do is monitor this person. That could be a full-time job.
And in context, you can make fucking anything awful. Anything. And all you're going to do is drive yourself crazy.
Either way, yeah. If you think that if it's that much of a problem, then just
get out.
Leave. Yeah,
fucking leave. If you can't handle it, then get out because you're just causing problems.
Her friend also said that Kevin was treating her as a trophy wife. She said she didn't like that. Yeah.
What?
Her friend said she had given him 2 sons and that's all he wanted from her.
Okay.
Another girl we'll talk plenty about, Cassidy Green. She said, I think Kevin got bored with her. Another friend here of Tabitha said a couple of times she talked about leaving him. She felt he was too powerful because he was a lawyer. She thought she didn't have a leg to stand on, and she'd lose her boys. Because he'd be better at filing legal shit.
You probably don't.
That would be tough. So by 2002, she figures out that she finds more stuff that he's screwing around, more online shit with another woman. She tells some of her friends at work there and shared copies of the messages she found with them.
God,
she's got printouts. What do you make of this?
She needs am I crazy?
You have
printouts. Fuck yeah, you're crazy.
Well, but no, you're not because this is happening at the same time.
And I'm your friend. Yeah, and I'm going to
side crazy with you for sticking around and showing us this rather than just getting a divorce.
You're crazy to keep this going.
Yeah, so she said that she wanted to get her marriage back on track, though. She kept telling people, I guess there was one Friday she came into work, and she said Kevin promised they would go to dinner and a show that evening, and that the marriage was going to be back on track, and he was done with bullshit, and this was a fresh start. It's all coming together now. So this is like her third fresh start by 23. This is poor girl has a lot of fresh starts. So the problem was, though, Kevin's idea of taking her to dinner and a show was you'd picture dinner and a show.
Yeah.
The worst, the movies. That's the worst you're getting.
The lowest.
At the most, there might be a play.
Live play.
A live musical performance.
Yeah.
Some kind of, we're going out and being fancy tonight. He took her to a Henrietta strip club. That's the show.
What?
The show is other chicks' tits around. That's our show. We're going to get our marriage back on track by looking at other chicks naked, right?
Divorce. It's over. It's done.
I would say. Her coworker said she was hurt, but she was also surprised by how much it pleased him. What is she surprised about? There's a bunch of naked girls that'll do what you want for money. What the fuck is surprising about that?
He was smiling so much.
Tits just brightened his whole day. It was weird.
A stranger's tits. Didn't even know their name. She had a code name.
Super strange, right? That is
impersonal titties is the most smileable thing.
You just see tits anywhere. You're like, hey, look at that. That's nice. It's just a great thing that we're all happy about.
Forget it.
Anybody mad at tits is not a person I want to talk to.
In the grocery store, if someone's not wearing a bra and you can see their tits, that is the coolest thing. I'm buying apples and I turn around and oh, look, tits. That's great.
Whenever there's like a protest in a city where women are saying that guys are allowed to be shirtless and I should be shirtless, like they did with beaches in New York years and years ago,
you can't do it.
They come out with these tits out, and there's people with signs going, "Put those away!" and all. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What you fucking people?
My biggest problem with it, James, is I will get nothing done.
Well, no. If it's just like in your office and girls are prancing back and forth with their tits out, obviously.
Oh, my God.
Of women just protesting there. But in the streets, leave it alone.
The thing I have a problem with it is the people that go, "What's the big deal? They're just tits." What's the big deal? They're tits. They're incredible. That's what it is.
Yes, but why can't they have them out? Have them out all you want.
Yeah, I don't have a gripe about it except
that's what I mean. I'm not angry that your tits are out ever. It's just no one is.
I've never seen one. I hate it.
No. And you're just it's a neighborly thing to do. I'd call it right neighborly is what that is. It's just nice.
It is kind.
Her friend said she's hurt but surprised by how much it pleased him. All of a sudden, she found a way to reach him. No, what? Men have been reached by strangers' tits for millennia, probably. I'm sure there was a certain cave you could go to where the girls would take their tops off in exchange for pelts or meat hunks of some kind, a thing of berries. I don't know. I'm sure walnuts. That existed back in the day.
How is she going to reach him when she needs to have a conversation? She's just going to hold up the centerfold or what?
Just take him there, and then she could always talk to him because he's in his element. I don't understand it either. I don't know what it was.
We need to have a conversation. Get in the car.
It is weird.
We got a sitter. We're going to go talk it out.
So she's not upset by it. Uh-huh. She embraced it as an attempt to save her marriage. Like we will bond through strippers.
Wow. That is desperation.
Several strip joints became their regular hangouts.
Oh my God.
In one of them here, though, she meets a guy named Keith Cromwell, who she ends up starting an affair with. Is the problem. January 2003. He just hangs out there. He was a patron. He's a patron there. He's a fellow titty connoisseur.
Fellow titty connoisseur picks up a fellow titty connoisseur's wife.
And he's 47. He's older than Kevin, even.
How do you do it, guys?
This is wild.
Good for you, Keith.
They meet in January. By Valentine's Day, they're in an affair.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Affair popping.
Holy.
So that's what it became. And they said that people described Tabby at the time as a, quote, and I don't know what the fuck this is because usually bars do not allow this. You're either a professional or you got to keep your shirt on.
No.
They described her as a, quote, amateur lap dancer at Nookie's Tavern.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. The book says, quote, a description that's open to interpretation. What does that mean? That tells me at some point her tits were out in the bar.
Yeah, the thing about women in a titty bar is that they get to do whatever they want. They can take their top off.
They can grab women's tits. They can grab their asses. People. Nobody cares. It's wild. Yeah. They walk around. Yeah. You ever see like an old thing where someone's like, remember like Saved by the Bell when he'd like freeze everything and he could walk? Impunity. That's what this is. Like
the girl that used to put her fingers together and she could freeze time. Yeah,
freeze time. That's what this is.
That's what it is. Yeah,
that's what being a girl in a strip club is like.
Yeah,
you could go around, you could smack a guy in the face, grab a girl's tits, throw a drink on the ground, and people will just be like, "That's hot that she's here,
applaud.
Man. That's so cool."
That girl. Woo! She's an amateur, guys.
She's an amateur. So.
I've seen men bring their wives and the wives sitting in chairs are being tipped because their top came off and the dancers will tip her. It gets the place fucking insane too.
It also gets them in trouble too because they're not allowed to do that. I read this book that the guy who owns Scores, Michael Blutrick, he owns Scores, and it's all about him and because it's all through the mafia and all that kind of shit. So it's a very interesting book about New York City and Scores and all the people that were coming in there to party. And he was saying that happened where like, it'd be somebody's anniversary and They'd see some naked lady writhing on someone, and they'd be like, she's not one of ours, is she? They're like, you got to get the fuck out. We're going to lose our fucking... This is going to cost us so much money if you don't get out. You cannot do this. Only licensed naked people.
And that's a nice strip club. That's like the high-end establishment.
That was meant to be a high-end establishment.
The shitty ones that I've been to, they encourage the fuck out of this.
Oh, they don't. In Phoenix, they don't give a shit. It's disgusting there. Disgusting.
Yeah.
So this Keith works at Schlegel, where he makes industrial brushes, conveyor rollers, gasket seals of rubber or silicone, and various kinds of locks.
He works with a lot of fucking chemicals.
He works second shift, gets off at 11 p.m.
2 to 11 shift. Jesus.
Hot for a 26-year-old, right? 47, second shift at the factory. Hanging out at the strip club. Where do I sign up for this fucking gem?
Fuck fest.
Wow. One of their friends said, it's ironic that Kevin pulled her into this lifestyle and she met Keith because of it. All of a sudden, Kevin didn't have any control over her. Mm-hmm. So they would first meet secretly, then they became more bold. Yeah. She went to the graduation party for his nephew.
What? A nephew?
A nephew. Tabitha and Kevin's, they'd go to get, Tabitha and Keith would take her and Kevin's two sons out for lunch.
What?
Yeah. It was fucking crazy.
She is showing him how it feels.
It's very interesting. They would hang out. Basically, they would hook up in between when she got off of part-time at the bank and before he went in for a shift at the factory.
Oh, God.
Because he didn't have to go into like 3 o'clock or something. So they would hook up. By Valentine's Day, he told her that he loved her, was falling in love with her, and their frequency increased here. Her friend said, quote, he adored her. He put her up on a pedestal. Tabitha was happy for the first time in months because she was loved. She said she was also a Christian and very torn about this because this was not a Christian lifestyle. Yeah, I would say not.
The thing is, Kevin loves her too. Just Keith is loving her the way she wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Kevin cares
with dye
too.
On his hands.
Yeah. With the fucking chemicals all over the place.
With metal shavings embedded in his skin, in his calluses. That's what she's into at the
and
time.
Shitty beer on his breath.
Yeah, Jesus. So they end up at this point, as if things aren't going crazy enough for the married couple here, for Kevin and Tabitha. But then Cyril moves in, who is her half brother.
Right.
Yes, it's Tabitha's half brother.
Yeah.
Yes, moves in with somebody else too.
Who?
A woman named Cassidy Green,
who is the
and they met through the whole thing happened. Cyril moved in first on his own, and then Cassidy will move in later on because now a little bit more about Cyril here. Cyril and Tabitha first met when they were children during a family trip, and they kept in regular contact.
Okay.
Even though there's a 5-year age difference,
4 or
5 year age difference, but they knew they were half brother and sister, so they kept in contact.
Sure.
Here. So Cyril lived in Iowa, worked in a casino, and was married with a son.
Okay.
But he had problems. He got depressed in November 2001 when his brother was killed in an automobile accident, Chris. So Cyril went to Indiana to live with some cousins. Later on, someone will say about Cyril, he's actually a pretty intelligent guy. Unfortunately, he was essentially raised by wolves. He's a guy who, if he had some adult guidance, would have prospered.
Poor kid.
Ginny's his mom, so
yeah.
You know what
wild.
I mean?
It's wild.
So October 2002, he was admitted to a mental health facility for a day after claiming that he couldn't remember who he was.
Cyril did that?
Cyril said, I don't know who I am.
My.
His mother and stepfather picked him up, and they found him calling people on cell phones contact lists to see if they could jog his memory. That's how they found him. He was just calling people going, hello? Why do I have your number? Who am I?
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Look at your phone. What showed up?
Yeah. What does it say? Crazy fuck? Damn it. I knew that already. I already knew that.
Who am I? This says don't answer. I don't know.
Oh, shit. I forgot to block it. So he and his wife are having problems. Like we said, death of his brother was bad. Samantha put it like this. He had a nervous breakdown. He was in Indiana at the time, I think. He was in the hospital, and he couldn't remember anybody or anything. So Patty and Cleo and little Cleo went out there because they were living in Iowa at the time, and he didn't know them. One of Cleo's brothers was up there, so they stayed with him. He called Tabby one time and asked if he could come stay with them until he got things sorted out. So I guess Patty had moved away. That's his wife, and Cyril was a mess. So they said, here she says, quote, in October, I got a call around midnight. It was a collect call, and when I asked from who, I heard Cyril's voice say, I don't know. Collect call from, I don't know.
Help.
Yeah, she said he completely lost his memory. He didn't know where he was. He was terrified. After talking to him for a little while, I got him to hand the phone to somebody else. He had wandered into a hospital. He had seen a big cross, so he just walked toward it. He was like, those people will help me.
Toward a cross.
They'll let me in, basically. They might know who I am. It was a hospital in Crown Point, Indiana, which is just south of Gary.
Room. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, Cyril put me on the phone with a hospital attendant, and I asked her how to go get a doctor, get somebody who could come get him and take him to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. And they got a security guard, and they got on the phone and said they would take him to emergency, and that was that. So they took him in. Wow. He said Cyril was eventually put in a mental health facility. He wasn't violent. He wasn't suicidal. He just didn't know who he was, and he was scared.
What the fuck? Did he have head injuries?
That is fucking wild. I don't know. He's
Probably.
Just
I don't know.
It seems like his circuit's just fried. Like he's just too much, and it all just fried out. She says this, Cyril didn't remember me. This is his sister. He didn't remember Patty. He didn't remember his son. He didn't recognize any of us. He got in his cell phone, and he just started going through numbers. He started calling people and talking to people, trying to figure out who he was. He came across Tabby's number, and because he and Tabby used to talk quite a bit, he talked to her, and she asked to talk to me, so he put me on the phone, and Tabby said, okay, what's going on? So I explained it all to her, and she said, okay, now that makes sense. And then Cyril and Tabitha talked for an hour. Mm-hmm. So when they got done, I asked him if that helped any, and he said no, but she seems to like me.
That's a good person. Let's hang out
That's
with her.
a good person. Yeah. I said, well, she should. She's your sister. And she said I could come up and stay with her. She told me to think about it. Next time I talk to her, what should I tell her? So anyway, that's what she does. He does. He ends up going and living with them, with Kevin and Tabby. And this isn't the first time Tabitha had invited a sibling in. A few years earlier, Samantha had problems in her marriage and stayed there for a while, too. Yeah. So she's nice. So Cyril, Kevin gives him a job as a clerk in his law office.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, you can work here.
Can't fuck that up, yeah.
He was only 22 at the time.
Sure.
He's a young kid. He's working there. And in November 2002, that's when Cassidy Green walks in the door.
Oh, boy.
Cassidy is described as a, quote, 21-year-old cocaine dealer from Ontario County. Needing a lawyer to file business papers for an escort service she wanted to run with a business partner. That's Cassidy Green. That's our girl here.
Oh, boy. And Tabitha's a shithead.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let your friend meet this girl, sir.
Wow. She had worked at escort services, but was tired of the pimp. She didn't want to split the money, so she said, I'll be the pimp, and I'll go out and send girls out while with coke, too.
How can I start 1-800-DIAL-PUSSY LLC?
Yeah. LLC. And can I sell cocaine from that business as well? Does the license cover that or not? No?
Can I start cokeandhookers.com? Hookers and Coke already exists.
Shit. Damn it. People love them already? Fuck. It's already an established product. I'm fucked. Okay. So she decided she's going to set up her own escort service, and she even had a name for it.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You want to guess? Could be anything.
Could be anything.
You wouldn't have guessed
on
this.
Demand? I don't know.
Sunset Sensations.
Okay. I mean, it's
alliterative.
on the nose. We know what it is.
Oh, yeah. Sunset.
Pussy at night.
She had to come up with a location.
Yeah.
And she didn't have enough money to run it out of a motel. It's a real slim startup cost. Like, wow, I don't have the $39.99 a night to run it out of a piece of shit fucking middle America hotel.
You don't even have to pay a factory to make it. You already got it.
Can't afford to even house it.
We need the brick and mortar.
That's what it is. She needed a brick and mortar. She needs one of like the flagship is what she needs. She needs a flagship store so people can see your wares. Yeah. Like the Nintendo store down by Rockefeller there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's not like you're starting Legoland. You don't have to start you don't need a big plot of land. You need
I think you do.
Motel 6.
She couldn't do that, she said. She couldn't afford it. So
hilarious.
She asked around to any of her friends that may have a house that she could use.
Yeah.
That maybe they'd be willing to go into business with her. And nobody said yes, because
that's illegal.
They don't want that in their house. So she decided that she would operate Sunset Sensations out of a trailer home in the Bloomdale Mobile Home Park on Routes 5 and 20 in Bloomfield, Ontario County, New York.
Wow.
She's going to run a fucking trailer park brothel.
On Routes 5 and 21.
On Routes 5 and 20 in Bloomfield, Ontario County, New York. What do you think that's like? Well, if you go to a trailer park to go to a trailer brothel, what do you think who do you think you're going to see exactly? Honestly,
probably the best blowjob you've ever had.
I'm sure
teeth will not get in the way of this.
You know that. Always an open shit bucket out on the porch. It's all good.
Not good.
Wow, that is insane. So they said, maybe she grew up here. Her mom lives in this town. Maybe don't do it here. And she said she didn't like to travel much. So
I can't. Agoraphobia.
Wow. I'm going to read right from this book here because this is funny. Cassidy had great entrepreneurial plans. I think that's sarcastic as we hear.
Yeah.
She was going to advertise on the internet, show off how great her girls looked in fishnet stockings and corsets. When she wasn't feeling so optimistic, she would think about what to do if the escort business didn't work out right away. She figured she would supplement her income by selling coke to those who frequented adult entertainment establishments. She'll sell coke at strip clubs then. That's fine. She is just all class.
I got a plan B.
Wow. All class, baby. Wow. She said she tried to do it all on her own, but then she realized that no matter what, she knows how to run girls. She knows how to sell coke, but what she doesn't understand is paperwork.
Oh.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You do a lot of paperwork while selling coke in a strip club. And so she needed the doing business as stuff, the DBA shit. Remember all the stuff we had to deal with? We were like, what the fuck is this shit? She didn't understand how to do that either. So, and hey, we understand.
She wants to set it up and pay taxes on this. She wants to do this legitimately.
She wants it to be an escort service where she'll just have people suck dick for money instead and just
and pay taxes on it.
And I assume claim a minimal amount.
Yeah,
act like it's some
get
sort
a payroll going.
Yeah,
maybe a 401k. She wants to do it real.
So she asked around. She said, "I need a lawyer. Does anyone know a lawyer?" And everybody said no. So she opened up the yellow pages and literally just pointed her finger down on a fucking attorney. Didn't care. Like she spun a globe and pointed to a place.
Kevin's my man.
Kevin Bryant, who is the winner of the
because it's a B right at the front
mobile
of
home brothel sweepstakes here. Yeah, she only got 3 pages in. She's like, that's enough fucking page turning. So she says this, quote, "He seemed a little shady." She said he seemed a little shady as she's trying to do paperwork to run a trailer park whorehouse. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about?
He shook his head a lot and had a lot of questions. It was very shady.
Wow. But at the same time, that appealed to us because we didn't want anybody that was going to say, well, you can't do this. This is wrong. Mm-hmm. So they were looking for a lawyer who was a little
crooked. Yeah.
A little crooked. Yeah. So she said she liked going to the lawyer's office. She liked it because she found Cyril working there. Mm-hmm. So they started hanging out. And Cyril, been down on his luck, but he's still a handsome guy. And he's still all of that. So, hey, there we go.
You're describing like Cyril from fucking Oz.
That's how I'm picturing him with the ponytail and everything.
He's
a little slow, but don't fuck with him. He will beat your ass.
It's a bad man.
He will fight you hard. He's 6'2" and built big too. So Cyril, he's a big guy.
He'll blame his mom's cancer on you and wallop you to blackness.
My mom has cancer, and he'll beat you silly. So Wow. So they started dating in January 2003, same as Cromwell and Tabitha.
Yep.
Now, her legal name is Cassidy Green. Her street name, though, is Angel.
Oh, boy, did she dig deep.
Angel.
Every strip club in the country has one.
An Angel. And he calls her all the time, never uses her name, only calls her baby doll. Mm-hmm. She is 4'10", 72 pounds, by the way.
Oh, wow. She's going to get away with this forever.
She can just dress like a child, and as long as till she's about 32, probably she can just say,
they're never going to catch her.
I'm in the seventh grade. They're not going to search her.
Never catch her.
Slap a Dora backpack on her, she's fucking good. Push her out
sub 5 foot, forget it.
Man, Cassidy said, quote, about Cyril, he was very gentle, very sweet, bringing flowers all the time. He was the boy that you want to take home to your parents.
Oh, my God.
Hi, Mom. I found the coolest depressed divorce guy. He totally can't hold down a job and is often confined to mental health facilities. Isn't he great?
He has no idea who he is.
Yeah. Don't ask him who he is, though, because he won't be able to answer.
Don't ask him his name.
Ask me, direct those questions to me. So in February 2003, Cassidy moves into the Bryant home as well to be with Cyril.
Kevin, what are you doing?
Lives with him in a second floor bedroom because in there they have the married couple has one room, Cyril and Cassidy have another, the kids have another room,
right?
They two boys share a room, and then there's a home office as well. Those are the 4 bedrooms
in a 1,600 square foot home.
Yeah. Now, Kevin likes some weird shit, and shit starts to get pretty weird here. He liked the whole prostitution scene. He liked that a lot. He liked to pay for women. He liked to call for more than one girl at a time as well.
Kevin?
Yeah, he needed it. Like one woman wasn't even enough. He needed more than that.
My God.
You're 5'2", Kev. One's plenty. Let me tell you
your
something.
Your heart can't handle 2 women.
A, your heart can't handle it, and you don't have enough dick to spread around to that many women. You just don't.
No way you're 5'2", and so is your dick.
Yeah, you're just packing. It stunted all the growth except the penis. It exponentially made the penis grow bigger. Maybe that's what happened.
It is a direct line to the heart.
Yeah, maybe whatever those drugs were, that was the side effect. Short stature, giant penis.
Stunted the growth except for that.
Man, so he would go with escorts and all these women, and he wanted to keep things interesting, is what he said. Sure. And interesting to him was multiple women in motels, sometimes 4 women, group sex, drugs, coke.
Learn to play guitar, Kevin. You can have this all the time.
No. Coke, just he wants some crazy shit that I don't even know what he's thinking. He's in his 40s. He's married with 2 kids and a heart problem.
He wants a Wolf of Wall Street life, and he can't handle that.
That's how he's living, too.
Wow.
That's how he's living. Yeah. He would do group sex with pros and drugs and all that. He wanted Tabby to join in too.
Oh my, she's
you
busy,
get in
man.
on this. So yeah, when one time he got a blowjob from a stripper while she was there.
Yeah.
And he wanted Tabitha. He said, "You put your tits in my face while she blows me."
Uh-huh.
He wanted that in public here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And she would go along with it, Tabitha. The friends said they didn't know if she was into it or if she was just trying to save her marriage, but she went along with it.
I mean, she's having an affair. She's not trying to save shit.
That's the other thing. Yeah, she is having an affair, too. So maybe she just doesn't care anymore. So she's like, whatever, who cares? So, Ken, it was maybe fun. I don't know. I mean, probably fun. If you're on coke and drinking and you're out, it sounds like it's probably a good time. I don't know.
People do wild shit.
That's what you're into. So Kevin's 45th birthday party comes around.
Oh, boy.
And she decides to make it a night, quote, the best birthday party he'll have in years, she says. Tabby says that. And she hires 2 dominatrix strippers to perform at the party.
God damn it.
And also be with him as well.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. Yes, there's a party there. According to this, he, quote, partied with a dominatrix stripper, 2 escorts, and approximately 20 guests. His 2 young sons were in the house at the time. That's comes out later.
All right.
Now, kids have to be getting watched by grandma if we're going to be having fucking dominatrix action in the living room. Sorry.
As soon as she comes through the threshold, the kids better be elsewhere. You can't do that.
One kid walks into that living room and sees what's going on, and they are fucked up for a while. You're going to have to definitely, listen, this is a,
you can't unwire that.
No, that's crazy. During the party, Tabitha performed also, they said, amateur stripping. Yeah. And they said that he made a lot of tips as well. People were tipping her. Yeah. And Kevin was too drunk to care, didn't give a shit.
He's getting his nuts stomped in the corner.
Yeah, he's totally. Yeah, he's getting yelled at by a fucking woman. Saying she won't stop till she sees blood.
Having his dick belittled.
Yeah. So a few weeks later, Cyril joins the army.
Oh.
If I could have said, what do you think's going to happen next? Cyril joins the army is probably not the first thing you thought of.
I'm surprised they took him. Also worried they took him.
A little, maybe it'll help him. Who knows?
Maybe.
But he goes to Fort Knox. Cassidy continues to live in the house, though.
Really?
And also takes over Cyril's job at the law firm. You know what? I could either start an escort service or be a law clerk. I haven't decided which one to be.
If Kevin's looking to go to jail,
obviously.
Kevin.
So, holy shit. Cassidy began taking Kevin to parties and low-budget motels where a bunch of prostitutes she knew, and Coke was there, and it was just like, you want a party, I got a place to party.
And what year is this?
2003.
My God.
This isn't 1976. This is 2003.
So recent.
These people are texting while this is going on.
Wow.
You get that shit? This is wild. One party, she said that Kevin boasted that he paid for a prostitute with cocaine so she wouldn't feel like a hooker. No, she'd feel like a filthy coke street urchin. That's what she is.
So she'd feel homeless, not
in the hierarchy of the streets.
Yeah,
women who suck dick for money well above women who suck dick for coke. Like literally in the social hierarchy,
any
sucking
drug.
dick for coke is worse than sucking dick for money. Sucking dick for money is a profession. Anybody that's got a job, if you're cleaning out a fucking toilet, guess what? You want to do that just as much as she wants to suck a strange dick.
Yeah, if you're
you're just as much of a prostitute as they are.
If you're doing anything for fucking goods, you're doing it wrong.
This is not judging prostitutes.
No.
Exactly. They're like working for company script like they used to do in a coal mine if you're getting coke for it. That's not good.
No.
Money is better.
Coke doesn't buy anything. It shouldn't ever buy anything.
I mean, it'll buy a lot, but not if you do it all. It should. If you give her coke and she does it, then she can't buy anything with it. So Cassidy said, when Cyril was gone, Kevin started getting prostitutes coming into the office.
Wow.
Now the office he's doing coke off his desk with fucking prostitutes.
Buying them to the office?
To the office. He's like, just have them come in at 2. It's, I got a meeting at lunch.
Filing a motion? Blow me while I file this.
I got a lunch meeting, then have them come at 1. No, make that 2. I'm going to have a big sandwich at 1. I'm not going to be ready by then.
Wow.
She said every day there was a different girl. So he has gone completely.
He's out of control.
Out of control. So Cyril, in the army now, not so fast. He lasted a month in the army.
Yeah, because you can't take a guy with mental health and put him in a place where there's fucking weaponry.
The main problem was his asthma, apparently.
Okay, yeah, there's that
He had bad childhood asthma, and the first month especially is all conditioning, and his asthma couldn't deal with it, so they discharged him. Yeah. They discharged him because he couldn't do it. So
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death, and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
He went back to the house, to the Bryants, and began to knock the shit out of Cassidy. Knocked her around good, beat her up.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, he's kicking her ass. She's 4'10", 72 pounds. You can't beat her up.
No.
That's crazy.
Dude, you're going to
He's 6'2", like, he's 6'2", big guy. She's
Wow.
4'10", she's 4'10", 72 pounds.
You will
He's got
hurt
at least
her.
100 pounds on. That's ridiculous. So she said, look, to chill you out a little bit, you should try this, and got him into cocaine.
Oh,
So,
my God. You're going to
Yeah.
coke fuel this monster?
yeah, that is, I'll give you a clip from the book again. I'll just read
boy.
right from here. Quote, Cassidy sometimes did waft in the breeze of an ephemeral ambition, but she lacked social upward mobility. She was a whore and a drug dealer. This is just a lot of real plain-spoken folk here.
Like 1870s language.
Jesus, it sounds like Trixie from Deadwood. Like, what is happening? She was in a constant need of money for dope, which would either go up her nose or into a crack pipe. She taught the joys of cocaine/oral sex combo. That was what she would, I'll
Yeah,
blow
takes
you
forever,
and
yeah.
I'll sell you coke. And yeah, it wasn't long before Cyril was also a cocaine addict. Very nice. She said this, Cassidy said, my coke dealer didn't trust him. He put out a line that zigzagged the table 3 times and made Cyril do the whole line to
A
prove
Charlie Brown T-shirt line of fucking
of
coke.
to prove that he was cool. He was sick for 2 days. He couldn't get out of bed or nothing. I kept telling him, just do another line. You'll be fine. That's
my
what she's
God.
telling him. She's like Doc Holliday's girlfriend.
Yeah. Big nose Kate.
Yeah, you may be the devil.
You may be the Antichrist.
You may be the Antichrist. So just do another line. You'll be fine. Little hair of the dog. No problem here.
That's my loving man.
After 2 days, that boy blew another line. He was at work the next day.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so Kevin finds out about the affair that Tabitha's having with Keith Cromwell.
And he doesn't give a shit because he's a monster?
Oh, he absolutely cares a lot. He's super pissed. It's one thing if you're paying for it and the chick's going to be gone in 10
Right.
minutes. It's another thing if you're fucking the same person repeatedly.
She's
I
an
guess.
employee.
That's his thoughts anyway.
I don't
Yeah.
love her. That's the difference.
Yeah. His thoughts are he's really parsing fucking morals here. I mean, that is, you're splitting moral hairs hard on this
He's
shit.
treating his sexual like it's a cheeseburger because he bought it. Whereas this is enjoyment.
Exactly. So he deduced from her cell phone bills that she was having an affair and promptly threatened to kill her also. So I will fucking kill you if you have an affair on me.
Kevin.
So he hired a private investigator. Between June 13th and July 1st, 2003, on 7 occasions, the private investigator tailed Tabitha as she snuck out to visit Keith.
In a 2-week period, every 2 days.
Every 2 days, yeah. And that's only when he was following her.
Right.
He proved conclusively that she was having an affair, and Kevin thought she was unfit to be a mother if she's having an affair. You are doing coke off of fucking hookers in your office in the middle of the day. What are you talking about?
With a coke hooker as your clerk, like
Wow,
What do you
this
have
is
zero
a
moral
madam
ground,
for Christ's
man.
sake, a madam / prostitute. Wow. After each day and evening of surveillance, he would give Kevin a call and report the activities. He gave him a full report. He told Kevin that she was with her boyfriend and showed her he had a tape, a fucking videotape of them.
God damn it.
Showing them meeting. It looked like cheaters showing them meeting in a shopping plaza, walking and holding hands together, getting into a car with him, and then going to his house. So, meaning Keith's house.
Right.
So 9 days after he watched the video, July 11th, he files for divorce, Kevin does.
Okay,
That's fair.
logical. Yeah,
Fine. This obviously isn't working here.
he's sober today.
Now, Cassidy said this, to quote, I looked at Kevin and said, I don't understand why you're taking this so personal. I don't think Cassidy understands human beings, really.
Cassidy really has a laissez-faire approach to sex.
But how do you think Cassidy was raised? Like, literally, how was she raised? Because
either
she's only
one
21.
or the other. Yeah, it's either a stuffed shirt, church fucking oriented thing, or dad was banging hookers in front of her.
This is probably dad was probably banging her. I think this is
or that. Yeah,
I think this is a very, very bad
damaged girl.
She's 21, 22 when this is happening.
And
this
personal interaction like that is just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, she's also logical here. I said, quote, you've got prostitutes coming in the door 24/7 and you're worried about a suspicion of her having sex with another man? And he said, oh, that's different. I'm just having sex with these women, but she's actually in love with this guy.
There it is.
There
Bingo.
it is. So
dude,
he, at that point, begins plotting to get rid of Keith Cromwell.
Well,
Cyril said, quote, Kevin was livid and started getting obsessed with getting rid of Keith. Kevin kept saying that he wanted to kill Keith. Every time Kevin brought up the subject, Cassie and I told him that he would get caught and that there were better ways to handle it.
How is Cyril the fucking voice of reason?
The voice of reason, exactly. Just got booted out of the army after a month. This guy passed the bar and we got a voice of reason. So then, after a while, Kevin started moving. He said, why am I mad at Keith for? Mm-hmm. What am I mad at him for? I should be mad at my wife. I made a commitment. She made a commitment to me, not Keith. I don't even know Keith. You shouldn't be mad at anybody, Kev.
No.
Your life
to the bathroom,
is insane.
Take a good piss, and as you wash your hands, look up. That's the guy.
And if she wasn't fucking this guy, she'd be
fucking somebody
all
else.
Up in your plans is what it is, too.
Yeah.
She'd be stopping by the office unannounced and shit while you got 5 women up there.
Right.
Give me a break. She'd definitely cramp your style. So he talked.
Honestly, it'd be somebody else anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. She doesn't like him. She's not happy with him. She's going to figure something out. So Kevin would talk with Cassidy and Cyril about, now Cyril's her fucking brother, mind you.
Right.
He's in the house because Tabitha invited him.
Yeah, you only know him because of her.
So, but Kevin is talking to Cassidy and Cyril about getting rid of her by he wants to plant cocaine in her car. What if I buy some coke and we put it in her car, then we call the cops on her and have her get pulled over and arrested? That way, I'll get a divorce, I'll get custody of the kids, and she won't get shit because she's a dirty cokehead.
And
what
I'll
about
do
that?
This to your sister. How do you feel?
Yeah, how about that? So then everything got really weird when Tabitha kicked Cyril and Cassidy out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess Tabitha accused Cyril of stealing $2,000 because of his coke addiction. I guess it wasn't the first time. Things have gone missing, and I guess her ATM card got taken, and there was a thing like that. So she said, get the fuck out of the house.
Okay.
So Kevin, at this point, offers Cyril $5,000 and half of Tabitha's $10,000 life insurance policy to kill Tabitha, his sister. He said, will you kill your sister for me?
You know how she just kicked you out?
Yes.
What a bitch, right?
What a bitch. Exactly.
I'll give you $5,000 to get rid of her.
That's right. So Cyril said, I don't want to do that. And things he dragged his feet. Things kind of got worse between Tabitha and Kevin. Kevin threatened to kill her right to her face. And Cassidy said she fucking gave it right back.
Oh.
Cassidy said she'd be like, go ahead, I'm going to kill you too. I'd like to see you try because I know where you sleep. She always had a comeback. She never let him get the best of her.
She's tough, man.
This is as a little girl when she's in punishment. She's like, I like it here.
Yep.
That's how she is. So during Memorial Day weekend, Kevin and his parents visited his sister in New Hampshire, and Tabitha visited family as well. Cyril and Cassidy moved out and moved in with their friends in a trailer in West Bloomfield.
Yeah. Was it on routes 5 and 20?
I think it was 5 and 20. Yeah. So you know the place.
Yeah.
Where they started using and selling way more coke.
Of course.
Now they can, yeah. Cyril said that he told Kevin, I told him I needed a vacation and I wanted to get away from the ruckus. Cassidy, though, said that Cyril and Tabitha fought when he overdrew her ATM card and Tabitha fucking kicked him out. That's that. So Kevin's efforts now, he really wants to kill Tabitha. At one point, a comment was made to Kevin by one of their sons, by another child who had seen Tabitha's boyfriend, Keith, at the son's daycare.
Yeah.
A little boy at his son's daycare walked up to him and asked if he was his son's other daddy. And he went, "She's going to die," as he walked out. "I'm killing her for that."
I got to be honest. I've felt it, man.
Yeah. But that's if they were divorced and there's a lot of ifs and a lot of
I was out of the house when that shit happened. If she's in my house and that shit happened,
that's different.
We got a problem.
If you're actually apart.
Thank you, little buddy. I'm going to murder that woman.
Thank you. You have blood on your hands now. Go along. Run along now.
You're an accomplice, motherfucker.
Wow. So that evening, Kevin confronts her about this comment. "A 5-year-old told me this."
Oh, God.
And told her that she's not allowed to sleep in the bed anymore and fucking pull out the sofa.
Yeah.
Literally, there's a sofa bed thing. So
go sleep
she
on
does
thin
that
mattress and springs.
And after that, for the next week, she's on the mattress in the living room there. Jesus Christ. So the next day, after he kicked her out onto the couch, he, of course, had a tryst in his office with an escort. Yeah. And Kevin asked the escort's boyfriend, who, by the way, was there.
What the fuck, Kevin?
Asked him, "What kind of work are you? What line of work are you in?" "I'm in the line of work of taking my girlfriend to blow strangers. That's the kind of work I'm in, obviously."
I'm
Clearly.
her coach.
Yeah. Wow. So this particular young lady said that Kevin was one of her clients. They'd meet at group coke and sex scenes at local motels. You know, when you run into people just at the local Motel 6 group sex coke party.
I hope he had
Happens
this
all the time.
question and conversation, question answer period with him while he was not buried inside the dude's girlfriend.
I think he just came, I think was what happened. He was like, let me ask you, Tony.
What do
kind
you
of
do,
work
Tony?
That's crazy. But then again, looking at it, hold on, let me look through my phone because, I think, about a third of my contacts I met at group sex coke parties at motels. So, you know what? Never mind. This is normal.
Yeah. I have subgroups in my phone under Red Roof Inn and La Quinta.
Well, the parties are way different at the different motels, obviously. Everybody, this is showbiz, you have to understand. So we get the good motels with the good group sex coke parties. It's really cool.
Yeah, they put the hoe in Hojo.
Oh, baby. Not in hotel, I know that. It's a motel. So she was impressed by Kevin, this lady, though. She said she knew he had a bad heart and had some surgery. She saw the scars on his chest. She said she was impressed by how little he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's impressive. He's like, yeah, look at that. He's getting along.
Impressed by my short stature.
She saw him get in the car and she was impressed he didn't use a phone book to sit on anything. Or she was like, this is pretty impressive.
He does everything like normal sized people.
Wow, that's weird.
Very impressive.
So one time in the summer of 2003 here, Jennifer was doing an out call at Kevin's office. He was coming to blow him. So he talked to her, as he had done with other people, his plans to violently end his marriage. Wow. Kevin told her that he'd pay her $500 up front for the purchase of a good piece and $4,500 later when the job was done. So she asked him, "Are you planning on killing your wife? Is that what this is about?" And he said, "Yeah, totally." Hill, now the boyfriend, remember, who was asked about, "What do you do?" He said, quote, "I told him I did construction work. He asked if I did any demolition work. I kind of laughed at him and asked what he meant. He said he asked if I could terminate his wife."
Do you ever tear anything down?
Like
a little woman?
Like a tiny woman? How about that? I asked him why he was going to kill his kid's mom. He said that she had crossed him and he couldn't deal with it. Hill said he took the $500 up front from him and he promised another $5,000, but he was like, "I just never went back." It's fuck himself. What's he going to do? He's 5'2". I'm not afraid of this guy. That's all it was. She, the young lady here said she was no longer in the mood to become intimate with Kevin after he had said he wanted to kill his wife. Yeah. And she was creeped out by the proposition as well to kill for him. Later, while Jennifer took a walk, Kevin again asked somebody, the guy, "You sure you won't do it?" And that's when he said, "Yeah, sure." And he took the $500 and said, "Fuck off." They said they used the money to pay rent.
We put it down on our fucking house.
Yep. So July 11th, 2003, she's been on the couch for 6 days, or 4 days at this point, and it's a Friday. She came home. Tabitha comes home from work crying. And she said she had a big blowout with Kevin on Thursday, is what one of her friends said. She said Kevin was forcing her to go to marriage counseling or she would lose the boys.
Yeah.
So she didn't know, Tabitha, that Kevin had gotten an attorney and already filed divorce papers. She hasn't been served yet.
Oh, boy.
So she, on Saturday, told her colleagues at the bank that she had agreed to stop seeing her boyfriend and go to counseling. Mm-hmm. Kevin's parents said they knew there were problems, but they didn't. They didn't know what the problems were. He said he was mad at Tabitha, and they'd say why. And he told them that she likes to stay out late and go line dancing with Cyril. That's all it is.
That's a problem?
That's a problem. Ginny, Tabitha's mom, said, "I knew she was worried about Kevin. She was worried about Cyril. She was worried about pretty much everything, but she never got specific. I never asked. I figured she would, if she wanted to tell me, she would." July 13th, 2003 here. Okay. She lays down on the couch that night. Tabby does. Kevin is upstairs in bed, according to him, reading a Tom Clancy novel.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
So, yeah, he's all pissed off, obviously.
Yeah.
This night, Kevin and Cyril kept calling. Kevin and Cyril kept talking to each other this night on the phone. This night is supposed to be the night. They talk back and forth, and then Cyril shows up with a .22 caliber rifle.
Yeah.
With the letters CG burned into the handle, burned into the stock, because that's Cassidy Green, because Cassidy's dad gave it to her as a Christmas present.
Wow.
It's for squirrel hunting. Cyril gets out of the car and walks up to the house, to the sliding glass door that Kevin said he would leave open for him.
Yeah.
And it was locked. Okay. So Cyril and Cassidy had to go to a gas station where Cassidy uses a payphone to make a collect call to Kevin's cell phone while Cyril is in the car snorting coke. Okay. They come back to the house. Kevin says, "Come back over. It'll all be set for you." Okay. They get back to the house. The garage door is wide open now.
Oh.
He just said, "Fuck unlocking the back door." Garage door wide open.
The back door is a pain in the ass. Let's make it mad obvious to everyone on the street.
Let's make it to anybody who drives by that there's something up here
that
at
the house
midnight.
is wide open.
So then the door from the garage into the house is unlocked. Cyril goes into the family room where he finds Tabitha. And that's what Kevin said. She'll be in the family room there. She's on the pull-out sofa. She's got a purple Afghan over her. Cyril says this: "As you look from the foot of the bed, Tabitha was sleeping on her side, facing to the left. I could see Tabitha's face, and I looked at her sleeping, and I realized that she was my sister."
Yeah.
That he doesn't know who he is half the time, so this coming from him.
It's very impressive.
"I was having a hard time with the fact that I was there to kill my own sister, and I started thinking that I couldn't do it.
And then I realized she just kicked me out."
And then he lowered a rifle, the .22, down and shot her in the eye, in the right eye. The bullet broke into two pieces and exited her skull in two places.
Wow.
He says this, quote, "Tabitha started screaming and I freaked out. I grabbed a large butcher knife from the rack in the kitchen and ran back into the living room. Tabitha was still on the pull-out bed and I started stabbing her. I'm not sure how many times I stabbed her, but I remember stabbing her in the throat and how she started rolling around on the bed. I was stabbing her as she rolled and kept going until she stopped moving and stopped screaming."
Cyril.
Holy shit.
That
you
is
are the guy from Oz.
Horrible murder.
Once Tabitha had stopped screaming, then he hears bump, 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 bump down the stairs. Here comes Kevin with an envelope containing $5,000 and $100 bills.
Right away payment.
Here you go. I mean, payment on completion, I guess.
My God.
Cyril takes it, gets back out in the car with Cassidy, as we'll talk about, and Kevin calls 911.
Uh-huh.
It's like 12. It's midnight and like 5 seconds when he calls 911. Wow. Okay, now he said that, by the way, everybody says it's a completely detached voice that he has on the phone, which a lot of people said he's kind of like that, but still, he calls. And they say 911, and he says 911. I love how he repeats the 911. People I called 911. There's been a shooting and someone is been shot. My wife has been shot. I heard someone screaming, Jesus Christ, there's blood all over the place, he says. This is not great. This isn't a good, when they analyze people's 911 calls, whether they're like telling the right information and being truthful, this is not a good one.
He didn't start with like my address. Yeah, location. We got to get people there right away.
Kevin Bryant, this is my address. This is what's going on. Yeah. Need help right now. Ambulance,
and
lots of blood bleeding. Help her.
Some very vague of who the person is, and then my wife. Like that.
Yeah, has been shot.
Suspect. Yeah.
Yeah. They said your wife's been shot, and he said yes. They said, who shot your wife? And he said, I don't know. I didn't see anybody.
Yeah.
So then they said, where is she shot? And he says, it looks like the throat. And they said, does she have a pulse? And he said, no, let me see. I do not feel one. Nope. But they said it was less than a second pause between let me see and nope. That's why I did it fast like that. Because he goes, let me see, nope. And we were like, how did you feel? They said there didn't seem like there was enough time to feel for anything. He just said no.
Yeah, he called before even checking on her, like even seeing like her condition. I'm not sure where she's shot.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm not sure if she's alive.
So they kept him on the phone. The 911 operator realized it was important to keep asking him questions. Yeah. He said his name. I'm Kevin C. Bryant. I'm 45 years old, because that's what she was asking. Yeah. His wife's name was Tabitha. So they said that the 911 operator said they're used to dealing with people who are kind of hysterical when they call, for dead loved ones. Yeah, right. Yeah, especially their wife. Right. But they said that he was not at all. She said he wasn't hysterical. She actually thought he spoke in a strangely calm voice as he explained that he'd been reading a Tom Clancy thriller upstairs when he heard noises coming from the living room.
Tom
and his wife
in a real trance.
I get in a Tom hole. How that goes. He said, I heard my wife shout, oh, my God. And that was that. I came downstairs, which, again, not great. When you start explaining your alibi to the 911 operator, that's usually a bad sign. So then he said he heard gunshots and screaming and a car outside pulling away. He said one of his sons was startled by the sounds and told his dad that he heard a noise. Yeah. So he said he immediately went downstairs, found his wife dead on the pull-out couch, and, I called you.
Yeah.
She said,
Trancy.
I'm in a Clancy Trancy. Is there anyone who might have wanted to hurt your wife? And he said, she has a boyfriend and a friend that we've been having some difficulty in trying to resolve the situation. And I don't know, she may have had and he trails off.
Wow.
So the 911 operator says she had a boyfriend. And he says, well, a friend. I don't. And the 911 operator said, your wife has had a friend. And he says, yes. Was she having a problem with him? And he says, I don't know. I didn't inquire. I wanted to try to. And then she cuts him off. How old is your wife? 26. Where are you now? I'm sitting right on the bed. She was asleep on the couch. I was sleeping upstairs. Can you send an ambulance? Mm-hmm. Could you send an ambulance? Should have been one. People, help, stuff.
Right.
Bring your best fucking tape, because she is fucked up.
She had a boyfriend. She's also sleeping on the couch. Indicates we have troubles in our marriage.
Shit ain't going right. Exactly.
And I'm not doing well with this interview.
This is going poorly, and I'm not even being interrogated by a cop. This is the 911 operator, and I've got my story straight.
I'm already dipping my cards.
Wow. At one point, the operator thought she heard him yawn.
Oh, my God.
A little sleepy.
Can you hurry up? This is mad boring.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something, boy. I got an early day tomorrow. I'm going to turn in. I'll leave her out on the front lawn and try not to disturb me.
Can you have him be real quiet? I'm a light sleeper.
Holy shit. I got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. So she said, were there any weapons in the house? He said, not that I know of. And they said, stay on the line until people arrive and all that.
No sirens. I'm tired.
I'm tired. Seriously, keep it the fuck down. It's late. So what ended up happening on the other side of that with Cyril and Cassidy as they leave, she has a pink Monte Carlo, by the way.
Hell yeah.
That she driven into their circle, and it's a little cul-de-sac, driven into the driveway there. It's her driving, and it's Cassidy driving, and Cyril in the in the passenger seat. Right. They said she was disheveled, and there basically. Cyril ends up fucking. By the way, she said also that Cyril had smacked her around that night.
Yeah.
As well. She said he was wearing a T-shirt with a dragon on it and a leather jacket, and he had a .22 Marlin Glenfield rifle with her initials burned in the stock there.
In 2005, 2004, it said affliction across the chest.
Absolutely. Super fucking affliction.
There's an embroidered dragon with fucking jewels on it.
Awful. Oh, God, terrible. With rhinestones fucking sewn onto it, glued onto it.
Yeah.
So once the killing is done, he comes out covered in blood. I mean, he stabbed her a lot, as we'll talk about. So they wanted to get cigarettes, but she didn't have her ID on her, and she looks like a child. So
right.
She's like, no one's going to sell me cigarettes. What do I do? He's like, well, look at me. I can't fucking go into a place. I look like fucking. Jesus Christ.
I look like I need a cigarette.
Sissy Spacek in fucking Carrie, and I just was at the prom, for fuck's sake. Look at me. I'm a disaster. So she said, well, I brought spare clothes for you.
Oh, that was nice.
He goes, well, aren't you handy dandy?
Yeah.
So he changed, and he goes in and gets cigarettes. That's pretty helpful. She also brought clothes for herself, too. But she said she always had clothes around. She never knew when she would be staying overnight somewhere, or all that kind of thing. So they pull into a gas station. They get beer and cigarettes. He cracks open a beer, and they smoke some cigarettes. Then they pull over in another gas station parking lot because they can't wait till they get home to do coke, even though that was the plan.
Wow.
So then once they do coke, they head out and go the wrong fucking direction and see exits to go in the wrong way. So she ends up pulling off. They're all coked up and shit, so who knows what's going on.
Drunk. Jesus Christ.
So she takes the wrong exit. She ends up in their neighborhood again.
She made a U-turn.
The only place don't go. Go to Canada, go to Ohio, go to Pennsylvania. One place you don't go. Back to their fucking house, and that's where she was going.
In a pink Monte Carlo.
In a pink Monte Carlo. So as they're driving around, Cyril throws the bloody knife out the window. That'll never be recovered, by the way. Even though they know where it's roughly where it is, it's never recovered.
Wow.
So police arrive at the crime scene. They said from the outside you could tell that it looked like a fine house, as we showed you, but little weird things. It's mid-July, and there's still fake snow on the door from Christmas time.
Really?
Yeah, that shit's still around. No one took a fucking paper towel and just wiped that shit off in 7 months, which that says something about what's going on inside the house.
Yeah.
So that was weird. Neighbors said they had heard a commotion on the street earlier in the evening, a lot of yelling, but they couldn't tell which house it had come from, and it died down early in the evening, so they don't know what's going on. The sheriffs arrive here, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. They get there at 12:08. So
fast.
they said there was you have to cross the lawn to get there. There's no walk up from the driveway.
Yeah.
They came in through the front door. Straight ahead is a hallway that leads to the kitchen. You look to the left, they saw the living room. The living room rug was red as fuck, but not from blood. It was just, weird.
Red.
They thought that was an odd choice for a living room rug. Then they saw Tabitha on the fold-out couch, and they said, okay, get the family out of the house. Kevin calls his parents, who came over to pick up the boys.
Yeah.
The kids don't need to be there. The sheriff's deputies seal the house, and Kevin will sit outside for the next few hours in his shorts, every once in a while dry heaving, just bending over and acting like he's throwing up here. So they process the house, obviously. Kevin wanted to leave with his dad and the boys, but they said, no. Fuck, you got to stay, dude.
You're very important to this.
You got to answer some questions, buddy. So they talked to him. He's outside. The two deputies accompanying him said that he would dry heave once in a while. One of them said that they kind of grilled him a little bit. The neighbors could see him out there throwing up and all that kind of shit. And they said Kevin was answering the questions patiently, but from time to time he'd have to excuse himself so he could, convulse again and dry heave. Yeah. So now Tabitha, they said she's still on the couch. Her face is covered in blood. She's been shot in the eye, for Christ's sake.
Right.
They said very noticeable stab wound in the neck where there was a gaping and still, looked like still oozing wound.
Sure.
There's also a wound to her eye. That's they said the largest wound turned out to be the back of her head, which was an exit wound, but that wasn't apparent at first. Mm-hmm. They said it was horribly violent. Blood had spattered there's blood spatter everywhere. Lampshade, nearby table, on the walls, on the ceiling fan.
My God.
Because he stabbed her and picked it up, and that's how blood spatters. They said the throat wound looked like it severed the jugular. They said that the killer had obviously been frenzied and stabbed the victim many times in a short period of time, and that's pretty obvious. So they said that she'd been shot once in the eye and stabbed 14 times in the neck and upper body with a butcher knife.
My God.
Semen was found on her body.
What?
Yeah.
Fresh? Like it happened now?
Oh, no, it was there at some point. They found semen. So somehow there's semen on her during that night, but they for a long time couldn't match the DNA. It was checked against Cromwell and checked against her husband, and it belonged to neither of them, not her boyfriend or her husband. So it's not Cyril's. He didn't jerk off on her. He was all coked up, so we don't know what's going on. So they said that they said it couldn't have been post-mortem unless one of the cops did it or something. So they said, what the fuck was happening that night? What is going on? A forensic pathologist said that she died of the stab wounds, not the gunshot wounds.
Oh, God damn it.
Yep, they said she was alive for that. They said that, it was awful. They said it was a really violent attack, shot in the right eye, and just stabbed so much. Gunpowder residue was found around the eye wound, meaning that the muzzle of the rifle was within 6 inches of her eye. Mm-hmm. They said that is obviously awful. They said that the gunshot wound was a significant contributing factor in the death, but 14 stab wounds in the neck and back made it a lot quicker.
That'll do it, yeah.
She suffered wounds to 2 blood vessels in her brain, as well as damage to her trachea, esophagus, lungs, heart, aorta, liver, spleen, stomach.
Everything.
All of those.
Yeah.
Her obliterated all of her organs. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. They said so. In the living room, it's just blood fucking everywhere. Looks like a horror movie. Yeah. They said in the kitchen, though, there are droplets leading down the hall and across the kitchen. It appeared the killer had been dripping blood as they made their exit from the house. So they're hoping maybe this person's cut their hand while stabbing her and left a blood trail we can get some DNA on. Turns out it's her blood.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're searching the carpets for blood stains. And they said it's a crimson rug. It's the color of blood, the rug. So it's very difficult to figure it out. And all these specks of blood have to be identified and tested and typed. And, you have to build a model of this room, basically. So they looked carefully for shit all over the house. They were also looking they found several drops in the kitchen and around other places. They really were paying attention to the locations near the sources of water. Yeah. Someone go and wash up. Because when they showed up, Kevin doesn't have a drop of blood on him.
Not a drop, because he wasn't
So they're
there.
they're like either, because if it's not, they are most suspicious of him, but he looks clean. So they're like, maybe he washed up and took longer than he said to call 911, but they said they couldn't find anything at the time around the faucets or anything. If blood had been found on or near the faucets, then they would have really sat Kevin down and said, listen, pal, you're full of shit. So Kevin, they said, was very small, so that they said he had lifelong vulnerability to physical threats and things like that. So he was trying to, play the card that he was not, a big macho guy. Yeah, but they also said they got the feeling like he was trying to overcompensate in other ways. Mm-hmm. So they said also maybe they just were suspicious that he was lying. But one of the cops, when they were talking about it, said, look at this fucking guy. He's 5'2". He's a tiny little guy. What if it was happening and he ran and hid because he was scared and he couldn't do anything about it? And now he's telling us that he was asleep and didn't know because he's embarrassed that he fucking ran and hid while his wife was being killed. So do you think that's a possibility? And they went, that's that seems definitely possible. They said maybe he went downstairs and, the killers left the house before he went downstairs, or maybe he was waiting upstairs as they cleaned up. Who knows? So they don't know. They have to figure it out. They said apparently with a gun and a knife, he would have gotten bloody, and there's no indication that he had blood on him. So they're like, it's a long stretch for it to be him that did it. So, yeah, they're suspicious of that. They give the house a once-over and notice nothing recognizable to throw any doubt on his story, except that it didn't make sense. So they bring him in and interrogate him.
Oh, boy.
And he is candid about all the details of his marriage, because he has to be.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer. He fucking knows that's going to come out. And you got to be like, oh, yeah, our marriage was wild. It was fucking crazy, but that doesn't mean I killed her. So he talked openly about having threesomes with his wife and other women, admitted he was angry when his wife had a boyfriend, and said that he refused when his wife suggested a threesome with her boyfriend. You guys want to Eiffel Tower me quick?
That's where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm. That is where it gets untoward at that point.
Surplus of pussy, fine. Surplus of dicks, no sir.
No sir. That's his policy. At one point, he suggested to the cops that I bet you it's that Keith Cromwell who did it.
Okay.
That's her boyfriend. I don't trust him. So, yeah, he said that he grew frustrated when the investigators repeated the same questions about the evening over and over again. He said, either arrest me or fucking let me leave. I'm done answering. I've answered your questions 5 times. So they let him leave. Yeah. But then again, they were like, yeah, let him go. Let's talk about the other people. They find Cassidy. Uh-huh. And they know that Cassidy and Cyril had been living there and, filed papers for her and all that sort of thing. So a week after the murder, undercover police officers make 2 undercover purchases of coke from Cassidy Green.
Hell yeah.
Then they arrest her and they go, yeah, you're looking at some time. I mean, coke, that's a rough one. You're selling coke. Unless you might know something that we don't know about this particular thing. Then this all can go away.
You are sub 5 foot. You are going to do terrible in prison.
Or great, depending on how you're looking at it. She said, I'd love to tell you every fucking thing I know.
Have you heard about this murder?
Let me tell you something. So she said she distanced herself, but then when they tracked down Cyril, he implicated her and said, no, she was there with me the whole time and everything like that. So then she confessed that she played a larger role and said exactly what happened here. So she's changed her story several times. She did started out with no responsibility and then added 10% every time. If you've seen the Gypsy Rose confession, it's exactly what she did. Started out with, oh my God, my mom's dead.
I didn't even know. Yeah.
And then it went to, I didn't have any access to the internet. Well, my mom had a laptop I used once in a while. Well, I used her phone. Actually, I had a pad.
I had my own pet tablet.
And every single thing went down that line of just 10% more every time. And that's what she did too. So they finally they had a murder charge against her too. Then they decide to they said you'll get a charge of manslaughter if we think you're being truthful.
Oh boy.
We'll give you that. Otherwise you get murder again. So now Kevin, they go ahead and arrest Kevin. Now they have witnesses and the actual murderer is admitting to it. So the pastor of the Community of Christ Church, where they went to church, said the only reaction I have is one of shock and disbelief.
His name's Stacy.
His name is Michael. Unfortunately,
all right. They got a man.
But he'll never make it. He's not gonna. He's just got to be an interim or something. And his sister said, "quote The family feels that Kevin is innocent, and we're fully behind him. We cannot believe anyone thinks he's behind this horrible tragedy."
She is very well unaware of what Kevin's been doing.
Wow. She said, we just hope the truth comes out and Kevin is cleared.
Oh, you don't want all the truth coming out. We know too much already.
It's a lot. So the prosecutor here, Joanne Winslow, she said that she believes that she thinks that they all fed off each other, Kevin, Cyril, and Cassidy. She said that the 3 would have been hard-pressed to carry out the homicide on their own, any one of them, but you put all 3 of them together and they form some kind of dipshit Voltron that they could fucking take things on here. So they said,
Power Ranger.
Big, huge one. Said by thrown together, their personalities morphed into this horrible thing. She said, certainly Cyril was a dangerous and violent person, but you have to wonder whether it would have turned out that way the way it did without the other two. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said that the personalities of them combined to commit homicide. There's Cyril, to fellow lawyers and family members, he's a meek little guy with health problems, and but to clients, he flashed wads of money, he talked big, he made them believe he was connected with the mob.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, guys, I know this, I know that. Yeah. Oh. Now, Cyril, they said he's intelligent but unstable, eager to please, and angry over being fucking booted out of the house.
Yeah. And the army and everywhere else.
Yeah, also Cassidy had just dumped him the day before and said she had another boyfriend as well.
Oh.
Cassidy here, she just saw there's some money that I can get out of this, I think, and she wanted to resume her life with her former fiance.
Oh, my God, Cassidy.
So the media coverage is huge for this, obviously, because it's got it all.
Fascinating.
This is sex, lies, marriage.
This is the best 2020 ever written.
Oh, my God. It's perfect. It's got every element of a salacious fucking story. It really does.
There's nobody to like.
Yeah, that's nobody. It's hard. I mean, Tabitha, you kind of like her.
You can't.
I like Tabitha.
Be
She's
too mad at her. She went on her own way and was ready to get out of there.
Her husband's fucking 4 girls at once. Yeah. She's like, I guess I'll look for somebody to date. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? So I don't blame her.
And she's going along with the shit, too, trying to please
she's
the guy.
Being a gamer.
Yeah.
She's like, let her blow you. I'll put my tits in your face. That's a fucking gamer right there.
Just love me, goddammit.
You want to talk about ride or die? Yeah. Wow. That is crazy level of ride or die.
But it's just it's so dirty. The whole thing is just so grimy. You feel so bad.
So her friend from work, Jackie Sims, says it's spelled like Jacque. So I was like, is that Jackie?
Jacque.
Exactly. Yeah. She said, what bothered me after all the stuff came out about her lifestyle and her boyfriend was that people who were her customers would come into the bank and say, geez, we thought we knew her. I told them, you did know her. Don't judge her by what you know about the last 6 months of her life. You don't know what anybody's doing sexually. What are you talking about?
You don't know her, and
you don't know,
and that's fine.
You don't know what gets anybody off. And by the way, why should you know what gets bank employees off?
Right.
None of your fucking business. The bank I go to has 2 65-year-old ladies. I don't want to know. They're like 75. I don't want to know how they get off. I don't. I have no fucking interest in it. None. If I hear it was some weird shit, I'm going to go, good for them. They seem pretty boring, but good for them.
There are coke addicts in this world. There are sex addicts in this world. You don't know all of them. Sorry.
You don't know them. It's just how it works.
Don't ask your mailman what he does. Jesus.
A high school classmate of Kevin said all the school's bullies, drug users, and dropouts could have been tied up in a murder plot, and nobody from the area would have been surprised. But Kevin was a hard worker and a good student. And I remember his friend that said, I'm not surprised he ended up as a lawyer. Yeah. There was a second part to that I didn't say in the beginning, but he said, I'm not surprised that he ended up a lawyer. I am surprised that he was involved in a murder. So, okay. Shocking. Tabitha's friends and family feel betrayed here. Tabitha's cousin said, I've never felt so betrayed.
So, yeah.
So she felt betrayed. So her childhood friend of hers said that her kids called her Aunt Tabby. Yeah. And, she said it's horrible. She said the boys that she had, they must be heartbroken, too.
God.
They've lost their mommy in the physical sense forever, and their father, who by his own choice will be punished for the actions he freely made on his own.
I hope his old roommate thinks about what he called her a while ago.
Yeah.
She's a piece of shit.
Piece of shit. That's what I mean. Who is this fucking guy?
Wow, man.
So Tabitha's friends said they're upset at the legacy that Tabitha left to those who didn't know her. Yeah. Her friend Kathy, who worked with her, said, I think she'd be disappointed. She knew that she knew what she was doing was wrong in the eyes of her faith, and that was a very big struggle for her. Didn't sound like it was that much of a struggle for her. Get the fuck out of here.
This is a desperate woman who tried to save her marriage. You do shit.
But what is Jesus going to think, right. Jimmy? I don't care because my husband's fucking 4 prostitutes right now. So Jesus walked out about 20 minutes ago. He said, this is too much for me.
He also hates divorce, and I'm trying not to do that. So let me be.
What do you want from me exactly? Jesus. Her friend said, we're certainly not condoning some of the things she was doing, but that was Tabby. It just doesn't seem that someone had the right to kill her. No, obviously not.
Right.
Jesus. Her other friend said, we know where Tabby is, and that makes all the difference in the world, meaning that she's in heaven.
Yeah.
Her friend said, sometimes I wonder why God didn't protect her, but I know he didn't leave her alone that night. Well, he should have fucking maybe stopped the stabbing then.
Yeah, I got a reason.
What are we talking about? Jesus Christ. So Cyril said Cassie came into the bedroom and told me that she had talked to Kevin on the phone and that it had to be taken care of today. I knew that Cassie was talking about Tabitha. But Cassidy denied ever being in on this whole thing enough here. She was like, no, it was all them planning, and I was just there. All I wanted to do was get back with my fiance, Tito McMahon.
Oh, Tito.
Which sounds like a Vince McMahon joke. Like, I'm Tito McMahon now. Like, Timothy Tito McMahon.
We filled Tito McMahon's car with concrete.
Oh, man. Yeah, Tito's. Filled it all up. Now let's drink beers. So when Kevin called Cyril at the mobile home that night where Cassidy and Cyril lived, Cassidy said that Cyril came and said, we have to do the killing tonight. Then he beat the shit out of her, threatened to kill her and himself with a sword, and then had her call Kevin to arrange the details. Not only do you have to come, I need you to do the fucking legwork on it.
Yeah.
She said he was like, call Kevin and tell him we're on our way and that we're coming up there and find out where he's put the money. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. And he was like, you've got something to do with it now. Okay. I'm not buying any of this shit. She said when they arrived, Cyril took the keys from the ignition while she tried to talk him out of killing Tabitha.
Yeah, because you're going to leave.
Yeah.
Don't leave me fucked over here.
She said, he told me that if I moved from the car that both of us, meaning her and Tabitha, would be buried together, and he didn't have enough money for 2 funerals, so don't make things more complicated than it already was.
Okay.
He got the gun out of the car, and he said, I don't think you would want to be buried in the same pine box, so just behave. I'll be right back. Wow. Her attorney says he fully believes her versions of the events. Her attorney said, the other guy, Cyril, was cold and evil. Believe me, he's a scary guy. And then he says, though, without Cyril, this would never have happened. Without Bryant, he's the one who said, I want my wife killed. And Cassie, she went along with it after Cyril pounded her. Mm-hmm. So now they all think that Cassidy, the prosecuting attorney, thinks that Cassidy manipulated Cyril into doing it for the money. She said, we need the fucking money. Yeah. Go over there and kill that fucking girl. But it's my sister. I don't care.
Yeah.
So this lawyer said Cyril substituted Cassie's will for his independent intelligence. He got led around by Cassie, who was really the strong party here. If Cyril Weinbrenner were left to his own devices, this would have never happened. He was a malleable guy. Cassidy had him wrapped around her little finger, not to paint her as the devil incarnate. He clearly had the power to say no. He had more than the power to say fucking no. Yeah. If he was willing to beat the shit out of her, as they say, then he was willing to fucking say no.
He had the realization that this is his sister when he aimed the rifle at her fucking face.
That's
he
what
could
he
have walked
said.
out at any moment.
Exactly. Fuck yeah. That's exactly right here. So it's a mess, obviously. Kevin's attorneys said that his argument is that Cyril killed Tabitha and he had nothing to do with it. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Okay. That's that. One friend from high school said he wonders what went wrong. Kevin used to be a nerd, and now what happened? He said, I realize that people change, but there had to have been some major psychological meltdown for Kevin to be capable of that.
No, the man wanted to get laid in high school, and he couldn't, and it fucking exploded later when he was successful and he could afford it and get it done.
Well, you just didn't know that's what was in his brain before because he couldn't do it. Once he could do it, then you find out what's in people's brains at that point, what they want to do. So the prosecutor said that they're going to call these witnesses, including a neighbor of Cassidy and Cyril from a trailer park there, who's expected to testify that they were usually broke but were suddenly had shitloads of cash and material goods right after the slaying.
They went wild with $5,000.
$5,000 and $100 bills. Tabitha's boyfriend here, Keith, he is expected to verify medical records that he was intimate with her shortly before she was killed. So they're saying that maybe that's what it was, even though originally they said they hadn't seen each other for days. And another thing, an acquaintance of Kevin Bryant is saying that Bryant wanted to buy a gun to kill his wife and gave him $500 for a .38 caliber that was never delivered.
Yep.
Now, they go to Cyril and they say, let's make a deal with Cyril.
Yeah.
They said that he had faced the death penalty here, but he agreed to plead guilty to first-degree murder and testify against Kevin in exchange for a prison sentence of no less than 20 years and no more than 25 to life.
Okay.
So then, out of nowhere, before Kevin's trial, Cyril suddenly demanded a prison term with a fixed number of years. Tell me exactly how much time I'm doing.
Yeah, 25 to life is too.
That's a little vague.
Yeah,
I'll end up
with
that.
This. Let's make a deal. I'll end up with the goat and serve entire life here. This is no good.
Jesus. They said, well, that sentence can only be accomplished by a plea to manslaughter. And later on, he said, okay, fine, I'll plead guilty to second-degree murder, and I'll take 15 to life. And the prosecutor said, nope, we've had enough. Never mind, and tore up his fucking agreement. We don't need your testimony. Fuck off.
Just try you. How's that?
That's it. That's also Kevin's court here. Kevin in court, his defense is to attack the credibility of both Cassidy and Cyril, who are easy to attack.
Sure.
They're fucking cokehead dirtbags.
She came in for a pussy LLC, for Christ's sake, and he's been booted out of the fucking army. It's so easy.
It's fucking wild. So Keith Cromwell, he testifies. He said he knew Tabitha was married, knew she had 2 children before he started seeing her, said that the relationship grew intimate, and at one point he said he took Tabitha to his nephew's graduation party. He would take her sons to lunch, who were ages 3 and 5.
Oh, God.
He said, we did lots of things together. He said that the last time they had sex was 3 days before she was killed. So he wasn't the semen. So he also testified that the affair continued right up until her death. And he said he last talked to her on the phone at 11:45 p.m., which is right when it happened.
Oh, my God.
He said he learned the next morning that someone had been killed on her street, and he tried to reach her and left a message on her cell phone. And then he found out she had been killed, so he called 911 and was like, you guys are going to want to talk to me for sure.
Yeah.
And so, they said, yeah, go talk to the detectives. Other testimony from the cops here, a sheriff's deputy said he recovered a fragment from a bullet that apparently passed through Tabitha's head, a foam mattress, and a red wall-to-wall carpet before being lodged in the carpet pad.
Wow.
Got that piece. Cassidy is the star witness.
Yeah.
Cassidy said about about Kevin when she talked to him on the phone, I told him that everything was locked, and he said to come back and that everything would be taken care of and to send Cyril up to talk to him when he was done. So she said she sat in the car while Cyril went inside with the rifle, and she said the shot went off. She said she heard it. She said it sounded like a small champagne cork or a wine bottle or whatever. All class. All class.
Most people say firework or a pop, an explosion. She said, it sounded like when I blew a bunch of guys on New Year's.
Yeah, it sounded like New Year's Eve. I don't know what that sound was because my head was down, but there was a lot of that sound going on around.
There's a lot of splashing on the back of my head.
Yeah, all in the front too, unfortunately. And so she said moments later he came back to the car. She said, quote, he was covered in blood. He put the gun in the back seat. He wrapped up his jacket and he put it in a garbage bag I had in the car. Wow. Cross-examination, they obviously talk about all the lies she admitted telling investigators. She lied a lot. Yeah. All sorts of discrepancies about whether she went to the home and stayed at a service station or went to a gas station during the slaying. Because at first she said, I just dropped him off, went to a gas station, came back and picked him up.
Yeah.
She's like, I wasn't even on the property when this shit happened.
Wow.
So where she saw him load the rifle, where he got rid of his jacket, when they called, all that kind of shit here. The lawyer said, you're here testifying in part to benefit yourself, aren't you? And she said, I'm here to tell the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. Trust nobody here.
Yeah.
She said 9 days before the killing, she walked downstairs in the Bryant home and heard Kevin talking with Cyril. And she said, all I heard was Kevin saying, it's got to be done. It's got to be done now. Mm-hmm. She only cried once during this whole thing. She wept when describing the overwhelming mechanical trouble she had with her pink Chevy Monte Carlo, which she drove that night. She cried about her car breaking down. Very upset about that. That's amazing.
My fuel injectors were dirty.
So that none of them worked. My fuel filter, I needed a new one. Cyril refuses to testify. Won't say shit. Verdict comes in. Didn't need Cyril. Guilty as balls, Kevin is. Sentencing here. The judge called the slaying a cold, calculated, horrific crime.
Absolutely.
Quote, it's probably the worst of the worst. You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole.
Fantastic.
Eat dicks. His lawyer said, we agree that it was a brutal, cold, and heartless homicide, but we disagree that Mr. Bryan had anything to do with it.
He is going to be a pocket pussy in prison.
Oh, man, it's going to be rough. He better have on my heart, he better have that locked and loaded.
Oh, boy.
I've asserted my innocence and continue to do so. The verdict and sentence does not change the simple truth. Cyril goes to court, and obviously he's got Cassidy testifying again. Yeah, he's found guilty as shit. That he was ready to plead guilty. The judge here could have handed down a sentence ranging from 20 years to life imprisonment to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She said, when a judge makes this type of decision, it's important that all the emotional clutter goes. You know, you don't want to be emotional about people's sentences. But she says, you, sir, may fuck off. He pled guilty, by the way, though, to this. No sentencing guarantee. You, sir, may fuck off. Life without parole.
Yeah, you blew it, man.
You fucked up. So, wow, that's a lot.
He wanted to know exactly how much time. All of it. Now you know.
That is fucking crazy. One of the relatives said, I would have a question for him. Why? As I see it, the lives of at least 4 people could have been saved to some extent if he had been a decent, humane person. Cassidy goes to court, pleads guilty to first-degree manslaughter, and cooperates completely. In a letter read aloud by her attorney, she says she sees Tabitha's face every day and is heartbroken about her role in the death of a woman who befriended her. Quote, as I look at myself and question who Cassidy Green was before this tragic mistake, she's using her name in the third person here, I can truly say I don't like the person I saw. I'm not only asking my family and her family for forgiveness, I'm asking myself. I'll punish myself. Don't you worry about it.
You guys don't have to.
Well, the judge says, you, ma'am, may fuck off 15 years in prison. Lot less. Lot less. So, yes, she goes there. She says, while in prison, I'm sorry is not a good enough phrase. My apologies will never, ever be accepted by any of the families, my own included. If I could bring her back, I would. If I could change that night, I would. She said she drove Cyril there, and that's it.
Okay.
In prison, Kevin was sentenced to life without parole. He almost immediately had a stroke and a heart attack at the same time. Literally, in prison.
His shitty little heart.
Yeah, it's shitty little heart, all gone. He's been hospitalized in the infirmary in there. He's paralyzed on one side. He's a disaster. He is still in prison. Obviously, he's got life motherfucking without.
I hope he doesn't feel anything from the waist down.
No. Conditional release date, none. Maximum expiration date, life.
Ever.
That goes for Cyril as well.
Yeah.
Cassidy, on the other hand, from what it looks like.
She's out, James.
She's got to be out because her earliest release date was June 2016. That's the earliest she could be released. Her maximum out date, 7/27/2018.
She's out.
She's out.
Oh, boy.
Tabitha is buried at the Greenwood Cemetery in Steuben County, New York.
Watch out for that little gremlin running around wherever she's at. Jesus.
That is Penfield, New York, everybody. And
that's
a bonkers. That whole thing was insane. He shot his sister, for Christ's sake.
Unbelievable.
The fucking, the sucking, the coke, the sister killing. This is a disaster.
On the outskirts of Rochester.
The dwarfism. Yeah.
These tiny little people causing mayhem.
Holy shit. So there you go. If you like that show, damn it, tell the world. Tell your friends. Post on social media. And, of course, leave. I was going to say read a review. That's
leave
not
them.
it. Yeah. Leave a review. Yeah. And whatever app you're listening on, do that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com.
Yeah.
Get your tickets for live shows, baby.
Boy.
We have 12 shows for 2024, and they are selling out fast. So get in there. Phoenix is in November, and it's sold out.
It's already gone. Yeah.
There you go. It's 11 months away. So please get your tickets now if you want to get tickets for these shows. There's no more shows coming.
Right.
That's it. Those 12. There is this, though. 420 virtual live show.
Watch out.
Fuck yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun again. If you were there last year, you know. I got crazy weed things, and we got Jimmie Superstone.
It's a real party.
And it was fucking hilarious. It's a real party. Come party with us on 420 for a great and a regular case, just like a live show, but in your house. And we'll announce to when those tickets will be on sale. For Patreon, patreon.com/crimeinsports. You definitely want to get that. You anybody $5 a month or above, you get access to everything we put out Patreon-wise. Every other week, you get one new crime and sports, one new small town murder, a couple hundred in the back catalog. Yeah. This week, what you're going to get for crime and sports will be Morgana the Kissing Bandit. Yeah. Giant boobed woman who was allowed to run on the sports fields and kiss people in the middle of games.
Wow.
And not get arrested for it somehow. We'll find out how that happened, I wonder. Then for small town murder, the prisoner dating game, everybody. You know how that works. 4 bachelors, 4 bachelorettes. The only thing they have in common is they are in prison for a violent felony.
They're bad people.
And Jimmy's going to pick one of each and base solely on their pitch that they're giving on their dating profile. And then he gets to find out who he picked. It's fun as shit. That's a lot of fun. Patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the show in just 1 second. But I also want to say, listen to your stupid opinions, please. And also listen to Crime and Sports. It's so fucking good right now.
Really
if you try, just try it out. Give it a shot. Both of them, we beg of you. So do that. While you're doing that, Jimmie, hit me with the names of the most wonderful goddamn people on the face of this fucking earth that we couldn't do this without. Hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producer is Julie Cargill. Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank you.
You're amazing, Julie. You're the only one,
ass.
Julie. You executive producing.
Julie.
Son of a gun. Thank you,
we love
Julie.
You, Julie.
You're terrific.
Thank you.
Other producers this week are Betty Swallows, VJ,
Nice of her.
Condi Lamada. Condi Lamada.
There you go.
J. Condi Lamada. All right. Peyton Meadows. Jessica Bampton. Bampton. It is Bampton. All right. Scott Atanasio. I believe he's up in Poughkeepsie or somewhere.
Is he?
Or he's familiar with the area. I'll say that. Liz Vasquez, Ava Dodson, William Locklear. That's Heather's kid. Stephanie Addis, Janice Hill, George Brian Melton, Eaton Schmeckma. Probably not. Crystal Sogstastad. We got it. Thank you so much, Crystal. You're terrific.
Yeah.
Natasha Gleason, Lacey Garcia, Josh Seavey maybe, Stacy with no last name, Kira Lloyd, King Lizard, Martin with no last name, Key Francis, Kentucky Francis, KY Francis, Chrissy Goodrich, Kate Edgar.
We should get Edgar together with KY. We'll have a party together.
Have a great time.
If you're edging that long, you need lubrication of some kind, right?
For sure. Becky with no last name. Felicia Hernandez, Ginny Britt, Matt S., Christy, Ray Ward, Michaela B., Ryan Newman, Sandy with no last name, Herschel Yeet Beat and Skeet Bush, Mitchell Heel, Amber Udland, Opus with no last name, Beta Leighton, David Moon, Alicia Spajote, SBJUT, Spajutes. Spute. All right.
Spagiotes. Spagajokos.
Easy to make jokes about. That's what it is, Alicia. Will Stoles. Jessica Coffey. Heidi Weigel. Laraway. Karina Nook. Nicholas Hoyt. Carl. Fakima, Angie Reynolds, Noel Dietz, Samantha Collins, Kiki Noble, Natalie Boyd, Susanna Grissom, Madeline S. Nash, Kayla Smith, Jazzy Lowe, Shayna Bath, Marie Helen Paradiso, Eunice Sullivan, Julie Fox, Roberta Garcia, Emily with no last name, Krista Bushelman, Allison Hemrick, Becky O'Connell. Oh, that might be wrong. Also, Maddie Marie, Michelle with no last name, Grumpy Zombie, Corey with no last name, Elizabeth Coladizius, Cold's H. Nick Gilligan, Call of Duty, Shara Brown, Tom Lindell, Samaria, Morris. Rising Experience. Existence. Adam Wilfong. Wilfong is a fun name because Apple tries to make it Wolfing every time. Megan Fisher. Stephanie with no last name. David Mason. Alexander Reed. Ian Anderson. Zachary King. Jason Myers. Suck a fart bitch. Chris Kohler. Nice. Harold Burgess. Maria with no last name. Nicole Schmidt. George Hellinger. Shalita Washington. Jonathan Glenn. Ashley Levon. Shakira King, Phyllis Minchu, Katie DeWitt, Tina with no last name, Chrissy Conch, oh boy, Sonia Baker Fox, McKenna McKelvey, Trevor Goss, Brad G, Brian Lake, Devin Baum, Sean Hura, Brenda Savinsky, Savinsky. Jesus. Hey, Michelle with no last name. Trent Harmon, Margot Gonzalez, Stephanie Reagan, Justin Schald, Juan Lopez, Jolynn Holbrook, Huati, Viola Brown. Maybe Voila Brown. Heather with no last name. Brown. It's Brown. How about that?
It's just Brown.
That's my magic trick when I go in the bathroom. Voila! I've made
Brown. And watch this. Now I make it, voila, disappear. Flush, done.
Voila, yellow.
Oh, man.
I'm a child. Dennis Gomez Cruz, Rebecca New, Joe Riggs, Christy with no last name, Mr. Adam Kennedy, Eugenia Shirley, Alex G, Christina Hill, CSC, I can't even read letters, CSCHI, 13 Pirates, Sarah Campoli, AJ Ducky, Roger H, Calla with no last name, M with no last name, Mark with no last name, Taylor with no last name, Steve and Becky Ott, Odie maybe, Stephen Gavin, Melissa Bernhardt, Rudy Folds, Jason Curtis, Catherine Howard, Laura Reeves, Mason Dryfout, oh boy, that looks like dry fart. Gabriel Montana. Roger Pete, Carrie Lynn, Claudia with no last name, Courtney Lowe, Kayla Weller, Phoebe Mortellaro, Selena Huerta. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a Paisan for sure. Amy with no last name, Ryan Ellis, Janny Bourne, Caitlin Young, Gretchen with no last name, Denise Linsky, Jennifer Smith, Caroline with no last name, Mac Daddy, Kristen with no last name, Andrew Abel, Aaron Hayes, Carmen L, Lily with no last name, Cheryl with no last name, Chris Wilson, Austin Braley, Lynn with no last name, Saman Amiri, Mikhail with no last name, maybe Mikhail. Maybe Michael.
Possibly Michael.
Mikhail. Maybe Mikhail. Probably something else. Jennifer Denley, Lisa Barnes, Robin Bredd, Troy Bellis, Jake Gordon, Kimberly Merlot, Kaylin Beddingfield, Carolyn Hawley, Scott Henderson, Liz with no last name, Sarah Wright, Aaron Pursuti, Maggie Zaring, Kristen Haluch, Cheryl Fazio, Olivia Peterson, Ann with no last name, Tony with no last name, Zach Cross Street, Heather Maserati, Kaylee, Tucker, Jessica Beachy, Music City Toys, Gabby Bucci. I don't know.
It's a Bucci.
It's a Bucci. Pamela and Shanique. Hey. Hey, boy, that sounds like fucking makeup. Benjamin Hirsch, Kyle Alexander, Busanate 07, Ryan Hildebrand, Aussie 321, Carmen Armstrong, Michelle Clancy, Lumi Wambagogo.
That's fun. Wambagogo. That's a great name. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, Lumi Winnebago, Christy Andrews, Juanita Peaches, Tyson Armstrong, Paige, why'd you do that? Why delay? Why Dyla? All right, Summer, why'd you do that?
Why'd you spell that?
Summer Karsten, Cindy Kateria. All right, Casey with no last name, Jessica Vietnamese, Vatees. All right. Vatasese? All right. Bella with no last name. Mark Rubinique. Rubeke. Sandra Rivera. Heyo Wayo. Mrs. Papa. Tracy with no last name. Jamie Diaz. Jeremy White. Lauren Gargazola.
Gorgonzola?
Gorgonzola.
I was going to name you whatever closest food you are. The mortadella lady got it earlier, so that's what happens.
Greg Warders. And all of our patrons, you're fucking amazing.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Thanks for all that you do for us always, and you continue to do, and just thank you so much for everything, and thanks for hanging out with us. Sure. Hope to see you at live shows this year. You want to follow us? It's all on the website. You can follow us and find us. Social media, definitely do that at, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So get in there, hang out with us, and until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.